Boom. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to welcome you all to the Hello LLC. If you don't know, Hello stands for Helping Entrepreneurs Leverage Leading Web3 Optimizations, where we truly help people pivot their business from the crusty, dusty, old, outdated website, the landing page, implement some new strategies of being able to implement AI, implement some actual strategies that monetize your business where you can be you can stop being the janitor of your business and you can be the president of your business, because right now is no other time for us all to really be looking at how we can add more to our business, especially as this fintech, crypto, blockchain that most people don't know about. Today, we're going to have an amazing conversation of don't be a blockhead. We're going to be talking about decentralization. We're going to be talking about security, efficiency, smart contracts, supply chain transparency, tokenization, data integrity. We ain't here to give you facts or tell you to go buy this or get that. This is literally just showcasing the facts, right? And what it is and how it's going to be able to help you in the future. And right now, please do not be one of these people that are talking about still that crypto and blockchain and all these things is in the future, because it's already here, especially with some rules and regulations that were passed through the White House last week. And so now it's where you guys are probably getting investment emails about moving over and transitioning this old, outdated, financial system that we really want to clarify today. And Tara, my amazing other half, is with me. This is really her cup of tea, when we talk about all of these things. So we're going to have a Q&A. We encourage you guys to raise your hand, come up and join us as well, and ask any questions if you have, or add anything to it, because this is really about educating you. Nobody's going to be asking you to invest in this or invest in that whatsoever. This ain't financial, education whatsoever. This is us just laying down the building blocks so you won't be 2 years from now, a year from now, 6 months from now, being like, damn, I don't know anything about that. And even right now, don't let this be a conversation that goes in one ear and goes out the other. And then 6 months, 2 years, 3 years down the line, being like, damn, I wish I would have listened to David and Tara at the Hello LLC a little bit more, because now I'm hearing about this stuff. And just like all of us are parents or children, we go and tell our mama something, or we go and tell our significant other something, and it goes in one ear and out the other. Then you go to this event or you go somewhere and somebody else say something, they all over being like, oh yeah. And you're like, I just told your hard-headed ass this the other day, and you don't listen. So don't let that be this moment, right, baby?
Are you speaking from experience?
Yeah, I might be. I might be a little salty on that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh Lord. Well, hello, beautiful people. It is a beautiful Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited about this conversation. If you guys have any questions, you can drop them in the chat. You can come up, raise your hand. This is an open conversation. This is not about debating what's right and wrong. Like, this is the better cryptocurrency.
This ain't that room.
Our point of having these rooms is to share strategy so you understand what the playing field is, where it's going, so you can set yourself up for the best optimization for yourself, your situation, and your, legacy.
And your business too.
And that's part of your legacy.
Yeah.
And so it really comes down to utilizing this information, seeing the bigger picture, and understanding how you can be a part of this instead of, how many of us raise our hands at the end of the day, wish we were really in on the inside of the inside cusp in the late 90s, early to late 90s, and even the early 2000s, about Google, Microsoft, Facebook,
Tesla.
these large companies now that have so much value to their stock that you could have bought when they were still a company in a garage. You would have understood at that point, this smells like a little bit of opportunity that I want to be a part of. And so the goal and the understanding here is to be able to give the level playing field so everybody has the choice to do their own research and make their own choices on how they be a part of it. So that is our goal today. If you do not know, you guys can join us in our metaverse. We are in there now. Go to thehellOLLC.io or click the link above our head. and drop in there. You'll see the button for the live events, and you guys can join that from your phone. You do not need your VR headset. So that is the beauty of this. And to understand how blockchain and cryptocurrency is going to be tied into metaverse. Metaverse, guys, is not just something that is the games for kids. That is where it started, because kids are the easiest market to because they want everything and they're pretty persuasive, just like our pets are. But my point being is, it is all interconnected. And we had this question last week on our pivot member on our live pivot show that we did on Thursday was, I thought the metaverse was played out, and that's okay to think that, because it was really the talk of, it was the hot word in 2020 and 2021. And we are creatures of habit. After we stop talking about something, it kind of loses interest, and people are like, oh yeah, that was a thing. Well, this is the same kind of situation. And what people don't
situation.
Well, it's not, I won't even say what people don't realize, but what is of the case is that the structure and the infrastructure of Web3 is being implemented. It is mostly fully there, but there's obviously developments and new designs and new inventions that people are coming up with. And because of that, we have an infrastructure that was marketed as gaming, but is really going to come into as the new e-commerce, which is where blockchain and cryptocurrency and fintech all come in together. And that's what we're going to have a conversation about today. So, Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
Let's get this Q&A started.
Let's get this party started. And so, a lot of people probably already out the gate. Tara, David, this is cute and adorable, but what the hell is the difference between crypto and blockchain? In a 5th grade way of explaining it, Tara, not somebody that's been in it for 3 years. So just explain it short, simple, sweet.
So the blockchain is the ledger. It is where the transactions are time-stamped, date-stamped, and visible for the public to see.
Mm-hmm.
And cryptocurrency is the currency that is being transacted that can be then housed on the ledger, meaning like if David sends Tara 100 Bitcoin, and if you have 100 Bitcoin, hot diggity damn. But if you send me 100 Bitcoin, that would be that transaction would live on the ledger, which is the blockchain. So the technical term of it is the blockchain is the distributed ledger technology that records transactions across a network of computers in a secure, transparent, and tamper-proof way.
Got you. So could we kind of say the blockchain would be like the receipt?
Yes, that is the receipt.
Right, but not just an actual paper receipt, but a receipt that everybody has access to.
Everybody has access to it. You cannot you cannot tamper with it, because if you tamper with it, it affects everything else that's tied to it. So it is really going to bring transparency to our financial system, which I'm going to ask the question right now.
Yeah.
How many of you can walk into a bank and say, hi,
hello,
I want to see your ledger? And the bank's going to go say, no, definitely
you are not authorized to see our ledger.
You are not authorized.
But within the blockchain, it's now going to be tied to an identification number that then ties back to that actual person. It's not going to say, and the blockchain David Jones.
No, you will be seen as a series of numbers and letters.
Gotcha.
And that will be your ID number.
Because a lot of people that's going to be their thing, right? When I heard the blockchain, well, hold on, everybody's going to have access to knowing what I buy.
Right, you want to see that I'm buying milk and cookies and shit.
Yeah. No, your number is associated. The only person that knows that number is you. So,
and if you choose to publicize it, just like your social security number.
Yeah.
If you choose to publicize that darn thing on a billboard, then that's your prerogative.
Got you. Okay. And so now that we understand what blockchain is, can you share with us what is crypto?
Well, cryptocurrency is the digital currency that one would be trading, well, yes, you could trade it. You could send it to me just for the heck of it, or, or purchasing more on or buying. But it is when you make a transaction, cryptocurrency is the currency that you utilize. So right now you use the US, we use the Mexican peso because we're in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
But if people in the United States, if they walk into a store and they have dollars or cents in there, that's a currency. So this is a digital currency, and it is logged onto the digital ledger, which is the blockchain.
Got you. So this would be the money
Yep.
that is exchanged
Yep.
that then is on the blockchain, which is the receipt.
Yep.
So
think about your checkbook.
Yep.
You had the checks, and then you had the checkbook ledger where you had to, balance your checkbook.
Yeah.
The ledger portion of that is the blockchain.
The squares and all that you'd have to fill out and stuff.
Yep.
But now
that
you don't
we know you didn't because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
Yes, where you would put your debits and credits. And
I didn't have. I was
balance.
sorry. You might be a year older than me, but it was right then that's cutting.
Oh no!
that
I
we
was
didn't do.
fully taught on how to balance it because it was going to be
No.
your responsibility
No.
if your account was
No.
overdrafted.
No.
Well, you have to understand. My mom was an accountant,
yeah.
so it was going to be taught.
Yeah.
Anywho, and then the checks in your checkbook, the actual physical check that you write to someone in the pay to order of, that's the currency.
Gotcha.
So now think of it in a digital manner. It is a digital ledger. It's a digital currency.
Okay.
So anytime you write a check so I'm going to AKA, send David 100 Bitcoin, that transaction will be logged onto the digital ledger, which is known as the blockchain.
Gotcha.
And the reason they call it a blockchain is because it is a chain of blocks. They are digital blocks, and each block can hold so many transactions, X amount of transactions, X amount of data.
Mm-hmm.
And once that block is fulfilled or full, it then essentially closes, and then a new digital blockchain is connected that is open for the next series of things. So every time, it's just like once that's all filled up, you close the lid on it, and the next in line is connected, the blockchain. And so it's a digital series of blocks of data that hold the transcriptions, not transcriptions, I should say, the transactions of our cryptocurrencies or NFTs. Or which would be known as smart contracts, but we're not going to dive down that yet.
Nope, not yet.
Anything that's in that kind of crypto NFT transactional world, it lives on the blockchain ledger.
Yep. And, one of the biggest things that people have to understand, especially as we talk about this blockchain and this crypto, this is nothing more than when electricity was brung out. People were, first introduced to electricity, and they were scared of the fires and the electric shocks that it might cause. But look at what the advantages that it has done, especially right now for us.
Did go out the other day.
Yeah.
We're like, oh!
Yeah. And not only that, when we talk about airplanes, right? People were afraid of human flight because of the safety and, and the long distance transportation. Look at where we're at now. We talked about the dishwashers, when those first came out, people were afraid of microwave ovens as well. And so what we have to understand and things that we bring to people's forefront is anything that is new, people are going to be resistant against. And after people are more familiar with it and other people start talking about it, as more people are talking about crypto and blockchain being the government, that I'd love for you to talk about that rule that was passed 2 weeks ago, so that can bring some more light on this for people that still seem to say, oh, this might not be, the right thing for me. If you could, go into that right now.
Well, first, I want to back up just a second and share on when people are a little leery of change. Yes, when it is absolutely drastic change and that's not the way they were taught or brought up to understand. Yes, but what most people don't realize is that they're already utilizing technology of Web3, like Web3 based technology, cryptocurrency style, things like that. They're already utilizing it within, if you're using Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Stripe, if you're using any of those and you can receive or pay someone or send money to someone instantly, that is already within the Web3 space because instant is a Web3 feature.
Boom.
Now, what people don't realize is they've made it on.
I don't believe in the metaverse and Web3. But I got what? I got PayPal. I got Stripe.
And that's what
I got a Tesla.
That's the biggest thing, is that people are already utilizing the technology, but then they say, or they share, or they have the theory of, I'm not for the metaverse, I'm not for that. And it's like, well, if I shared with you that you're already utilizing it here, here, and here, they'd be like, well, how? And when you break it down as to how,
because only 16% of people know about the metaverse. Just like yesterday, we were in a room and we brought up the metaverse, and then all of a sudden, this guy came out of nowhere sharing with people, about the metaverse, and he was sharing the wrong information. And I'm sitting back like,
well, it was very opinionated based on movies and the fear that movies instill within us. And again, I'll come back to this conversation. They do that for a reason. Yeah. They want you in fear, because if you are vibrating in a higher vibration within, like, understanding different things. And what I mean by that is, if you are, if you're living life cool, but if you are tuned in a different way, like I am now that I went through something in my own life and in my own path, you start to understand.
Being with a black guy?
Well, that losing my father, losing our dog, going through changes like that can thrust you through a spiritual journey, a spiritual awakening, whatever, not religious, but in a different way, where you start to understand why we're really here and what is at play. Yeah. And all I'm saying is, and so I don't get so off in this topic that I lose everybody, because that is not the goal, is that there comes a point where you start to understand the whole picture real clear, and what the MO is and why they do things the way they do things. And then once you understand that, you can play the game on an equal level playing field. And that is the beauty of our conversations, is you and I, we can get very deep, as most conversations
can. Get deep.
Yes. And
in this topic.
Yes. And to keep it, I don't do that on a public forum a lot, because it does scare people. It scares people because it's unknown. It's not what they were taught.
Well, baby, if you ain't figured it out, we always scare people with the unknown stuff.
Yes.
That most people don't know about.
And I try to keep it so easy, peasy, PG related that it makes sense. But this comes back to my point of with society as a whole, you have to they have to pivot them in such small movements that they don't realize they're already using Web3 now. Yeah. And they're not, there's nothing to be afraid of. Yeah. And like you were sharing, that gentleman last night in that conversation, there was a lot of fear mongering in that conversation.
But then agreed.
Well, it was, we're going to be in a robot war. We're going to be in this. The robots are going to, be, harassing. And it was so fear-based that doesn't leave anybody feeling good. Yeah. And what happens is, yes, you can live in that world, but when you understand what's at play and how the playing field works, then you can understand how you don't have to be a part of that.
Yeah. Well, it's just like with anything. The energy that you bring is the energy that you get back. And as we share with people, broke people come up with solutions, or should I say, broke people come up with problems, and rich people come up with solutions. And we don't mean in the pocketbook, we mean in the mindset. Yeah. And a lot of the times people have that mentality of all these problems, but literally these things that we're afraid of are the things that can solve those problems and get us what we want if we're willing to pivot and transition to this new wave. And
it's the fear of unknown.
It's the fear of unknown.
Which is why we have these conversations, so we can try to take that fear away and be able to allow people to ask questions.
Yeah. And so with that being said, we want to welcome you all. Lady Drew is in the building. Damien's in the building. Our new pivot executive is in the building. Miss Erica is in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please feel free to come up, ask questions.
Sound effects in the background.
Sound effects in the background. And definitely, we want to hear any of you guys' thoughts, your first, thought process when you did hear crypto, because I'll be honest, when I very first heard crypto, I was very unknown. I was like, oh my God, what is that? I didn't know, especially when we talk about Bitcoin, when we heard it was at a certain amount, we didn't know that we could just
Well,
put 5 on it.
Our mentor brought it to us. So what was your first thought when our mentor, not me, because again,
well, I'm going back. I'm going back to when before all of that.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm going back to way before all of that.
Yeah.
To where most people are right now. Most people weren't in the mindset nor in the willingness to understand new things, just going off of feelings and opinions and what they thought. And that's where we want to be able to
I did in the barber chair when I was like,
that's exactly what we're talking about. Is that when we heard about Bitcoin, what is that? Oh no, I don't got that much money. When you didn't know you could just put a little bit on it and be investing on it. And those people that would have invested $100 back then, right? They'd be almost, at least 500,000, if not more than what it, depending on what they got in it. We know somebody that got in on Bitcoin at 15 cents. His little nephew came to him and talked to him about Bitcoin. And he's like, just give me some money and I'll put it off to the side. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And now he shoots himself in the foot every time we even hinted at this.
We know another young lady who actually got involved in Bitcoin when it was on the dark web back in the early 2000s, like 2000, 2001 type, kind of 2001 type of era, she stated. And it was very shady back then because she was like, I don't know what this is.
Trading books.
And so, she was buying her school books. And so she was, that's how she was purchasing her school books, was through the dark web on Bitcoin. And she bought a whole slew of it when it was like 0.00001 cent for a Bitcoin. And now you're hovering between 60 and 70,000.
Let's just say she doesn't have to work ever again.
And the big boys are now coming to play, which is the BlackRocks, the Vanguards, the large investment firms. And when they're here, because I know you asked me this question earlier about the rules and regulations side of it in the government.
Well, the main thing I want you to focus on is what just passed.
Yes. So if you
hold on, I'm sorry. Did Lady Drew, did you have anything you want to share or open up on this conversation?
So security. Now, how can they afford to get involved with Cryptcoin? Because, well, I may be pronouncing it incorrect. Crypto, excuse me. How can they afford to get in on it? Because when you're on disability and Social Security, you can barely afford anything. So how could they get involved in it?
Absolutely, Lady Drew. Well, the one thing I will say is that I was two things. I'm going to tell you how to do it, but also we have a huge section in our Pivot membership at the $7 a month that has a whole bunch of videos of actual diving in of showing you how to do this. So I'm going to explain it though on a higher level. You can start to purchase any sort of cryptocurrency through a crypto exchange. So let me liken this to the stock market.
Hey, Kara, one question.
Yes, ma'am.
With so many people saying there's so many involved in crypto and you can't trust them, who can you trust?
Yeah, so you want to trust a vetted out cryptocurrency exchange. And so a cryptocurrency exchange like the one that we use is Uphold.
And hold on, and to answer Lady Drew's question, I think one of the things that we want to make sure is that, Lady Drew, you can do this on your own. You don't have to go to, like we did in the past, to a financial advisor and all of that other stuff. Tara's literally showcasing an app that you can download right now, and you can go invest in different coins at your own leisure way, where now this puts the power back in our hands. And this is something that we want to make sure.
Yeah, and let me just interject real quick, because there are people that are barely making it through each month, because anyone knows Social Security in and out like I do, they can hardly afford to even breathe. So are there avenues that they can learn these things, not to take away from y'all, but because they simply can't afford even the $7 a month? Are there avenues that they can learn and invest that way?
Yes, absolutely. There's, let me just say this at the end of the day. YouTube has a plethora of people on there that share. And, I will say that in me learning, I have listened and watched, I've sat in audio rooms like this, Lady Drew, that are cryptocurrency based or blockchain based. I've sat in and listened.
Okay, Kara, not to interrupt, but this is another question. when they go to YouTube, as you're suggesting, what exactly do they type into YouTube? No, they go to YouTube, then they put in what, crypto information? Is that what they do?
Well, what I would do would be how to invest into cryptocurrency. And you're going to get a plethora of people that pop up. And the biggest thing that I can share with you is that the only way you're going to be able to vet out people is by listening to what they're sharing and listen to a multitude of people. Don't just go and listen to one creator. For instance, listen to what we're sharing and then take what we're sharing and match that up against somebody else that you find on YouTube. And then you find on, another YouTube creator. This is what I would say, Lady Drew. It is great. You can take the advice. You can take advice from anybody about, okay, that's a strategy. Write it down in my little strategy book and I got it here. But when someone asks you to click their link and invest or send them money, that's when you stop and draw the line. You do not need to be sending anybody money to invest for you. If there's a creator out there that says, send me $100 or send me $5 and this is where, don't do it, because 9 times out of 10, it's not going to end well. They probably might take your money or it's some sort of a scam. The reason I share that is because being able to go out to YouTube and type in how to invest into cryptocurrency. And again, Lady Drew, most cryptocurrency exchanges that, these people are going to be sharing about and talking about, Uphold is one, Coinbase is another one, Crypto.com is another one. Those are kind of some of the top ones. I mean, Binance used to be one, but they had to pull out because there's not regulations in the States. So just the 3 that I just listed, before that, those are, a few of them. We utilize Uphold. Uphold's great. I've used it for the last 3 years. It's been wonderful. But my point being is the minimum purchase that you can buy is usually about $5. So just know that that's the minimum purchase of a cryptocurrency that you will need to make is of $5. You can make anything above that, but they won't accept anything below, like a $3 or $2 purchase. But that is how you do it for someone who is on a very limited,
Okay, now let me ask you this. This is very important for Social Security people to know too. Now, when they start making money with the crypto, is that considered earned income, or how is that done so they won't be counted against?
Well, this is another great question. And this is where, you want to get plugged into a YouTube creator that is going to be an attorney an accountant, like someone who does taxes, and I found a few of them on YouTube that understand cryptocurrency. And I actually watched a video a week or 2 ago that was a gentleman who is he understands cryptocurrency and he has done taxes for the past like 25 years. And yes, there is a area that it can be earned income, and that's why it's so, before you jump into the pool, understand how to manage that and basically leave those profits where they're at. Don't be pulling those profits until you have a huge amount of profit, and at that point you want to then have an exit strategy that it mitigates your taxes. And these people who already are certified and licensed as attorneys and accountants now have expanded. Some of them have expanded into the cryptocurrency field because they understand it's here to stay. And they have, they are giving their way the system of how they would do it on their YouTubes to say, you exit. And when you exit, you need to maybe have like a trust fund set up that's for you, that's a living trust. And then you need to put it in some sort of tax haven, which is a life insurance policy. And there's a way to do it.
When we're talking about these tax attorneys, are they going to charge for their fee? Because I need to be able to fully explain correctly and factually to these individuals.
So at some point, yes, they will. But the information that I have found that is free, that I have not paid a single tax attorney or an accountant on that subject is been free information they give. Now they obviously have their services, and they're sharing that when you get to that point, you do need to get their services, but they are being very transparent about sharing this information about the black and white that you're looking for, because they want to make sure people understand are not getting themselves in trouble.
And the biggest thing, Lady Drew, is that that you can still right now invest. And when the only time you're going to get dinged or they're going to know that you make money is when you pull it out.
Yeah.
So you can still invest, and it can be stacking cash like no other.
You can be 200,000 plus.
Yeah.
But because it's setting in.
Right. And not to cut you off, baby, but I did learn, because I called them myself. And it's up to individuals. It's not across the board. They need to know exactly how much they can make above what they're making already on Social Security.
Yeah. And that's what exactly. It is going to be case to case basis. Nothing that we share is going to be a blanket solve for everything, right? And that's why what the questions you're asking are so specific, that it would be case to case basis. But the overall arching understanding is, yes, there is if profits are pulled out of cryptocurrency and they're traded into a US dollar of some, or some sort of other currency that you can spend, that's when they consider capital gains. And that's when you got to make sure that you're running it through the proper channels to mitigate those taxes as much as you can.
Now, I know when I was up doing my professional jazz singing, there are companies in foreign countries where you don't get the US taxes. And that's been a while because I'm semi-retired. Are they still available?
Yes, those are. And cryptocurrency has a lot more regulations outside of the United States. So there's a lot of companies, there's a lot of professionals who are licensed and registered here in the States, but they are partnering with other firms across, like maybe over in Dubai or London, or even in Japan, Tokyo area, Singapore area. They're licensing with these other international firms because they understand how to be able to mitigate the proper channels and legally. Not.
Can they find this information on YouTube as well?
Yes, I have been able, all this information I'm sharing with you, I have not had a conversation with a tax professional or a tax attorney or a cryptocurrency attorney. This has been me gathering and listening to conversations through YouTube, TikTok, and that's kind of about it. That's about it. Those are about the two places, or Clubhouse like this.
Okay, thank you very much for providing that, because I do help people worldwide, and I need to know the specifics so that way I can inform them correctly without any flaws in it.
Yeah, Lady Drew, I would go get the understanding of what you think.
And Lady Drew, guess what we're going to do? For all your support and everything that you've been doing for us, we're going to give you 1 month access to our Pivot membership, where you can go in and you can be able to get that information that Tara has put together to actually learn about those things as well, so you can get some more.
And in addition,
well, I didn't expect that, guys, but I wanted to know the information so I can go out there, research it, gain the information, then digest it, so I understand it, have a perfect understanding, and then deliver it to them. But I do thank you.
Yeah, we don't want you to get caught in the YouTube, scroll hole that Tara's had to filter through, and that's really what our Pivot membership is. So you guys don't have to be going here, going there. Tara's filtrated all this information to put it in a nice, unique package for you to be able to understand. And that's what we're going to give you access to, for you to be able to get access to that $7 membership where you can get that information.
And in addition, I will offer a 30-minute section of my time. So after you go through some of that.
Well, thank you, Tara, because, there's so many, you can't count on your countries anymore. You can't count on your politicians because they lie profusely.
Yep.
And I want to be able to help these people and keep them safe, because if you make over a certain amount of money in Social Security, they will strip you up.
Yes, ma'am, they will. We just had that conversation with another young lady today, actually, about the same thing.
Yep.
And so we are quite aware of trying to be supportive in people breaking out of that, but then getting caught into the other side of that. But I will offer 30 minutes of my time. So that way, if you have any questions, I can dive a little deeper and more pointedly in that. I know we just lost her. She must have had a little connection issue, but not a problem. Those are great questions, though, that Lady Drew brought up, because really that is, I've taken the last 4-ish years and curated and combed through a lot of this information. And I will say the reason why, we have cultivated a section in our Pivot membership that really dives in to how to do things. And it also speaks about, but we also have other content creators that we feel are giving good information, that is trusted information. And we've brought in some of their information in their videos so that you guys can see that as well. But my point being is, the whole point was when I started setting in these rooms, I would sit in these rooms where they would be talking so high level. It was like they were talking Chinese and I was completely lost. Like, what are you talking about? And I even raised my hands multiple times and I was like, look, I am new to this. Like, what is the playing field? I mean, are we on a soccer field? Are we on a football field? Are we on a basketball court? What are we on?
Especially old clubhouse days. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. And one of the curators would share, we'll just sit in the rooms and listen, and it'll start to make sense. And I will be very frank, that frustrated the heck out of me, because I am a person who I like to understand the playing field, because then I can understand the systems, and then I understand how to make it better, so it works better for all of us. And when I was told that was like, just, you just have to like sit around and like be immersed into it, and it finally by osmosis or something, it'll make sense. I thought to myself, no, heck no way in heck, that does. No wonder nobody wants to get involved, because it's confusing. You guys are talking about so many things that are not irrelevant, but you're off in the weeds and and so I was like, this is not a beginner conversation. And David and I, when we decided to start bringing this portion of the Web3 into our conversation of cryptocurrency, blockchain, fintech, when we made a choice of, we can be like other creators that are telling you where to invest and what to invest in, but that's not us, because we don't provide financial advice. Our point is to provide knowledge so you can build strategy and understand where to go. If you like Lady Drew said, I can't, that's not really feasible of being able to be within your Pivot program, but where can I get this information? It takes longer, because then you have to cultivate through it, and then you have to go through it like, okay, what did this curator say? What did this content creator say? What did this creator say? What did this creator say? And now who's bullshit? And that comes down to you trusting your gut. And so you would, the reason why we put it in our Pivot and you have to pay $7 for that is because we have done our due diligence about who we are in our investment strategy. We're following in the sense of their strategies and understanding how, they lay things out and then give us the consensus of the knowledge. And then we sit down and we go, okay, what works for us? This is how we want to go at this.
And not even what works for us, what information what content will people be able to listen to understand it and fully, so they don't get frustrated or it's talked over their head or they are like, what is going on? And so really that's what the content is about, is to helping you understand the foundation.
Yeah.
Because once you can understand the foundation, then the rest of this can be curtailed to how you want it. Like for Lady Drew with the Social Security, or somebody that wants to do this on a data cost average, or somebody just wants to get rid of their 401k. There's so many different directions that people can pivot into when they want to talk about investments. And that's not our role. Our role is really to just get you the information so you understand the basics and you can be preventative and not be left behind. As people are left behind, as we talk about with AI, as we talk about with metaverse, as we talk about with Web3, and we're just providing the facts as you've provided. And we talked about, I don't think we got to the actual, what was passed, the actual bill itself.
No.
So people can understand what that bill was about, so they can understand this ain't going away.
Yeah. So just the short and sweet, and what that is that if you have been following, any of this, most of our politicians, and like Lady Drew was sharing, you can't rely on them anymore. And she's 100% right, because most of those politicians were no to crypto, no to blockchain, not doing it. And 2 weeks ago, 2/3 of our representatives, so whether it was in, the people that are in Washington, D.C. representing your voice, 2/3 of them finally said, hold on. And they did a 180, and now they're all pro crypto. They are for digital assets. They are for tokenization. They're for NFTs. And what they're for is the conversations to start getting regulations started. So at the end of the day, you have the ability to, start making investments that are not what some people consider illegal, because there's no regulations around things, right? And that's the other thing. A lot of people don't want to touch things because the United States, especially United States citizens, because there are not regulations around it. And the biggest thing right now is that, what the politicians did is when they 2 weeks ago, they did their 180, they passed the bills to start the conversation about regulations. So that's what they did. And that goes from no support the week before that. So 3 weeks ago, no support, to 2 weeks ago, 2/3 support. Let's start getting this ball moving.
So there's no more, oh, is crypto real? Oh, is crypto not? Because the U.S. government just passed a law that says, hey, this is regulated and we're good to go. And now you also...
Well, not a law has been passed. A bill has been presented that will allow them to start regulations. But you have to understand, when it got to the president's desk, even though he was for it and wants to start regulations, he vetoed it last week because... who knows?
Yeah.
And a lot of times this is where the conspiracy side of things come in, where people are like, it's a part of the play. It's a part of the game. It's a part of, the action playbook, like you have it in football. It's like, okay, the first place we're running this, the second play we're running this, the third play we're running this, the fourth play we're running this. And all of a sudden we got the third play and coach called a different play for the fourth play. And you're like, well, shit, coach, you said we're doing this. And he said, no, we're doing this. Yeah. And that's what's happened, is that the lawmakers put a bill forth. President Biden said he was for it. He ended up vetoing it last week. And that is just, at the end of the day, it's a part of the game.
Gotcha. So,
but he's pro crypto, which is because, again, this is part of the game. We're in election year, as you guys probably haven't figured out. And so this is going to be a huge talking point. I mean, huge talking point, because what people don't understand is there is a major amount of younger kids out here that are not voting, but they are all for digital assets, cryptocurrency. And now you have politicians that says, well, I'll make that legal if you vote for me. And so now you're going to have a huge talking point that will swing the vote this year. So you just got to understand, it's a game. Is that period?
Yeah.
I could go on, but we'll park at that one then.
Yeah. And so Miss Erica has her hand up. Lady Drew has her hand up. Boom. There we go. All right. Did anybody else want to tap in?
Hey guys, I just wanted to say, I worked in politics for years. Do not trust what they say, watch what they do, and be very careful.
And bingo! Look, at the end of the day, is my mom used to always say, follow the money. And what you have to understand is they will show you the shiny object over here, but you need to watch what they are doing. And when you see people making moves, especially politicians, when you see them getting in and out of stocks, that is the watching them move. And so this is, guys, you have to understand, if you went down and understood how many politicians actually own Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few other of these cryptocurrencies, but they're playing over here like I don't own anything and it's the devil. Nope.
Hey, Tara.
Yes, ma'am.
If I may, what I've noticed, because I used to sing for these politicians and became friends with several of them, people do not vote for your party. Vote for the correct person, the correct things, get all the information you can, because these people, they act like they hate each other so that they can put each other down and get their votes. What they do is they take Christmas parties, birthday parties, they go out to dinner with each other. So do not think that your party is separate from each other. They are very much together. It's all a show.
It is all a show.
Facts.
period.
Facts. And so, Miss
Which
Erica,
is why we're trying to give you the guys of the game so you can be a part of that show to play the game so you don't have to be a part of the game.
boom. So, Miss Erica, did you have anything that you wanted to share or ask on this topic?
Yes, actually on the topic, I have a lot to share. First of all, I have what we can call it crypto. Maybe we can call it a crypto trauma. How about that? And the reason what I'm saying is I am a early adopter of things. And so, I got excited about figuring out how to do this, and people were telling me different things, and I did invest in different things. I had Telegram on my phone, and I was in this app trying to figure out what's going on, and I lost money like with attempting to actually do this. Like it was all these phone calls and move your money, your bits here, and do this and do that, and I wasn't grasping all this stuff and didn't know how to get back to the money. So my money's somewhere, or maybe it's not there anymore. I don't know, but so that's just like if we were gonna do, because I'm a licensed professional counselor, so there's some trauma from people who tried to do something with this that maybe are telling people to be fearful of it. I'm not fearful of anything. I want to learn. I'm excited that I am going to be able to learn more about this and not be a blockhead. So I just want to learn all about what it is, how to use it, how to share with my daughter. I've heard plenty of people come to me and say, I'm into this. And so I've steered clear because I interacted with 2 people that were not the right people to be doing it with early on. So yeah, please, you all, I feel very comfortable with you all. You seem very transparent about things. So just, I'm here to learn about this. I'm really excited and interested. I get excited about all the AI and automations and everything. So I'm here to learn. So, and I don't even know what questions to ask as well. So
Yeah.
it's like, as an operational person, just give me step by step. Give me an SOP on how to get
I love it. Well, first of all, thank you for just sharing that, because you are not the only one who has probably been in your shoes. David and I have lost $5,000. We'll be very transparent in cryptocurrency out the gate. So this is why, another reason why we talk about this is because we want people to feel comfortable so they know where their stuff is, what they're doing, how they're involved, not just follow the leader of something, and have a true understanding. And so my take on what you shared was what you were part of before was more of a day trading. So there's a couple of different ways to invest into cryptocurrency. And the one way is day trading, which means you have to basically think of the stock market. You are watching things go up and down all day long. There are Telegram communities that have people who are really good at day trading. And so they've created these Telegram communities that you can pay to be a part of. And then you just mimic their moves and you make money. Well, what they don't tell you is that requires you to do it then and there and instantly. Like you have to be, the only thing you can be doing is eat, living, and breathing day trading. You're not going to be doing a job or anything else outside of that, because it is very technical and very time sensitive. And so that kind of sounds like what maybe you were a part of, and that can be,
Let's ask.
Was that a part kind of what you understand it to be, Erica?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was, yeah, do this thing, do this, go here, move this here. And I didn't know what I was moving. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was trying to do this thing. I was involved with this person, and they were telling me all this. It was it was just interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, well, you were also paying.
It makes sense because it was a daily thing. It was a lot of, so maybe that's what that probably is what it was. Yeah.
You were also paying, probably a monthly fee on top of your actual investments that you were putting in. that were going here, there, this, that, when the other way that they were telling you through the Telegram. So yes, that is one portion of that, which Tara was sharing earlier. You know, there's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. So that's day trading. What you experienced is day trading. And it's very fast. You have to really understand what you are doing, or understand what the person is telling you to do, because you can probably understand how that is traumatizing, as you shared. And so the other way is long-term investments. And that's what David and I do, guys. We have essentially, think of like gold and silver and the traditional stock market. We've bought in on some projects that at a lower price, and we're just holding, because we know that one day, you know, within the next 3 to 4 years, it's going to be of substantial, turnaround, because of what these companies are doing within the blockchain and the Web3 space. So what we do is long-term investments to understand how to buy it, park it, set it, and not forget it, but kind of forget it for the short-term portion of it, right? And so, and by the way, we don't tell anybody like, hey, you got to buy this, or you need to be this, or you need to be here. Our whole intent is to share so that people have an understanding. So when they're ready to be involved, they can say, this is how I do it. And they can go off and do it. Or they can say, raise my hand, guys, I'm ready to invest. And I have $100, or I have, $5 or whatever it is. And I would like you to hold my hand while I do this, because I want to push the buttons, and I want to make sure I'm pushing the right buttons. And, at that point, it is, understanding that we want to get everybody to where they are, this is where we're we're to a crawl, walk, run method, right?
And this is where we share with people. People just don't get it. Hello stands for helping everyone live life optimally. And we know that there's enough abundance for us all to win. And when people get that concept and understand, we're definitely not out here bamboozling people whatsoever. We're just joining our Pivot membership allows you, right, like you were, Miss Erica, yesterday, to join us, get all this information in our Pivot membership that you have access to, that has well over 100 videos on your social media, on your marketing, on your strategies. Tara's now built a whole entire crypto section as well. And with you being an executive, you now can say, hey, I want to take this 30 minutes and I want, to talk about how I can invest in this. Or, hey, David, I want to talk about how I can grow my business. Hey, David.
Or Tara, we can go try to find what you had invested and see if anything's still there that you can move over into long-term, right?
And so it's so many advantages that our Pivot membership gives people, to where it's simply, let's thrive together. And whatever that might be best for you, then let's do it. Just like Miss Marilyn over here on our Clubhouse side, she just started her podcast that is now on her Biz in a Box. So instead of her telling you all to go download Spotify, which ain't none of y'all want to go download yet, and nobody wants to go listen to it yet, right? This allows you all to now just go straight to her Biz in a Box and listen to her latest actual podcast. And when she does get her Hello storefront in the metaverse, she's now going to say, hey, go to my metaverse studio room and be able to listen to all the things that I have. And she just came up on stage, so I'll put it up at the top for you guys. I'm pretty sure she might be in class or training. If not, go ahead, Miss Erica. You got something else you want to add while we wait on Miss Marilyn?
No. So it sounds like I need to go do some training.
Well, yeah, I would jump into the Pivot Pro portion where when you log into your back office, you'll see Pro and Executive. If you go into the Pro side, you'll see the FinTech section at the bottom. And that is really where there's a lot of breaking it down, kind of the same things we're sharing here, but from different perspectives, not just David and Tara's perspective. There's other creators that are really well versed in this information that are sharing some. And then at that point, I would book your one-on-one so you and I can jump on the phone and you can ask any questions, and we can, if you want to, try to go see if you have anything left over in your day trading area that you're like, look, I want to move that into a long-term strategy, and then just be able to ask any pointed questions that are more, in tune with what's going on with what you have. I already
already decided that I'm sorry. My 30 minutes is not going to be about this because my 30 minutes is going to be about getting myself set all the way up on the storefront and everything else in the metaverse, because I have so many things. I have so much that I offer that I would like it all to be easily, somebody can go to all of it and see all the things that I am offering as a multifaceted leader. So that's what I want to have a discussion about.
I love it. Well, then your second discussion for your second month can be about cryptocurrency.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll help. Absolutely.
We just spent 3 hours on one of our pivot members that she gets 60 minutes with us every month. She gets two 60-minute meetings with us. And our first one for this month, we spent 3 hours on the phone with her. So unlike most memberships that I know we've been a part of, we've heard from other people, they put you on a time clock. That's it. That's all you get. Where, we don't get off the phone until we know, we got you solidified. And you're straight.
And that's because we want more for you guys than from you, to be very frank. Is if we could do it for you, we would, but we don't feel it's of integrity to leave people high and dry, hanging, and they're like, I'm more confused than when I got on the phone with you. And that is definitely not going to work for us, because
and you can ask Miss Marilyn that.
But Miss Marilyn, and it was not Miss Marilyn.
And it wasn't Miss Marilyn.
Miss Marilyn, we did spend 3 hours with you last week on, and that's okay because we were doing things together, and Miss Marilyn got so much done during that time. Heck, what was birthed out of that? Her podcast and everything.
So pressing buttons, baby.
Pressing buttons. But Miss Erica, I love the fact that you got up here and shared that. We again have lost money as well, so that's why we have these conversations, and that's why we empathize with it, because 5Gs is a lot of money. I wish I had that 5G back and
invested in the investments we have now.
Reinvested to the investments we have now. God. I would be a happy camper.
Well, actually, no. To be in all fairness, it was in total. After learning what we know now, we've invested about 15, right? But we've lost a total of 5. 5 is gone. We will never see that 5 ever again. We were able to pull and move around some of the other investments into some other.
And let me share why it's gone and we'll never see it again. Because, I just want to talk about projects. Projects, look, there's 3 types of cryptocurrencies. There's a store of value, which you would know as Bitcoin and Ethereum. There is meme coins, which are what you know as like Dogecoin or Pepe or Shiba Inu. Those are meme coins. And then there's going to be, they call them altcoins, ALT, altcoins, but they're also known as utility coins. And those coins are tied to companies that are actually about projects. And so when I say this word projects, every coin is a part of a project. So Bitcoin has a project, Ethereum has a project. They're all a part of a project. And what does that project mean, Tara? It means it's solving a problem within our society. But meme coins don't really have a project. They only are of value because David, Tara, Erica, Lady Drew, Marilyn, Giggles say that ABC coin is of value. It is only valuable because the community that holds it says it's valuable. Now, that's a meme coin. If you're in the store of value, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum, that is where there's a proof of work, where you might have heard people have to mine cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. That's a whole nother conversation. Is not going to get down in the deeps of that, but that is where essentially you have a project, which is the mining behind it, where they're creating this currency to be able to move money around the world on utilizing one currency. And it's a store of value. Now, Bitcoin and Ethereum are the 2 well-known cryptocurrencies within the space because they were first to market. Now, the altcoins. I'm just going to give you guys a huge tidbit of information. If you're going to go do investments and investing, you want to be investing in altcoins, ALT, and that's a category. And you want to make sure that it's a utility, meaning that it's a project that is solving a problem. For instance, there's a whole category of coins out there, like 10 coins, that is solving our current financial situation. What do I mean by that? It takes 3 to 5 business days for a transaction to post to your bank account. If you purchase something on Friday night or Saturday morning, you know it's not posting to your bank account until Tuesday morning, maybe even Wednesday morning. It's going to show pending, but it will not show posted until that matter of time. There are cryptocurrencies out there that are a utility to their project, and their utility is to be able to make that instant, right? So the reason why I share that with you guys is because when you're investing, you want to make sure that you're just not listening to a creator say, get into this coin, because they're FOMOing you in, the fear of missing out. You get in now before it goes up, and you're going to miss your opportunity that, make millions overnight. First of all, anybody making guarantees like that, don't listen, run for the hills. You need to understand that people who are really solidly investing understand it's a long-term strategy. And when I mean long-term, it's not like it was for the 10, 20 years of, stocks. It is going to be within the next 5 years. A lot of these tokens and coins come to fruition in its full maturity because of that. Now, just in the sense of where we lost money is that we were a part of a project that is no longer has backing. So that project is no longer there. So when it went away, and the reason I share that is because you have to do your due diligence and understand what that company, if they're going to be there long term. And most companies are, but some are not. And you have to understand that when you're making these investments. And that is where it comes down to the knowledge that we're sharing here that you can gather in our Pivot membership, as well as through YouTube University and any other content creator that's out there sharing. So I hope that helps a lot in the sense of just understanding we all have to do our research and be making choices and decisions that we're comfortable with, and not making choices or decisions based on someone saying, do this, do that, because before you miss out, because that's very fast moving, and 9 times out of 10 people lose. And when people lose, they get a bad taste in their mouth, and then they'll miss out, possibly miss out on an opportunity that really would set them up for greater gains in the future, instead of just saying, nope, close mine. I got burned. I'm not gonna do anything on that. So hopefully that helps Miss Erica in diving in a little bit more there on that one.
It does. Thank you so much. And yeah, I just have to make some space in my mind to focus here on and to really go in. But once I get going, then I will probably devour all the information that is there for me. That's how I feel usually when I get a membership like I have with you all. It's like it's so overwhelming at the beginning with everything that's there for you to digest. But I do want to ask you all about, and I've always wondered about, NFTs. Can you tell me more about that? I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. David and I were just having this conversation yesterday about the same thing. First off, NFT stands for non-fungible token. You guys, most of us know what an NFT back in 2022 was, because of this ape or this JPEG that somebody created, and then they turned it into an NFT, meaning it went onto the blockchain. It got a set of serial, numbers to it, and then they could sell a fraction of that. So it could be a painting, an artistic painting of some sort. It could be music of some sort, or it could just be, it could just be a JPEG that you make out of, Canva, and it could have your face on it. Who knows? My point being is, it is what is attached to it. It's essentially a smart contract. It's a digital smart contract. So what that means is that it allows you to, let's talk about the Vincent van Gogh's, what is the famous painting that I'm totally drawing a blank on right now? Mona Lisa. let's talk about the Mona Lisa. Everybody knows about the Mona Lisa. They can make a Mona Lisa NFT and be able to sell a fraction of the Mona Lisa in through a process of called tokenization, which is where they just take they fractionize the painting to where there's a little token, one token, and then it's made up of 1 million tokens, right? So once the 1 million tokens are gone, there's no more Mona Lisa available to purchase. But essentially, it is being able to purchase a digital portion of artwork of ownership. And that smart contract then will say that, well, Miss Erica, you own 1 token of 1 million tokens of the Mona Lisa. Your serial number of that is this, and they'll give you, your identification / serial number of your ownership, and then the value of that. And now it's just essentially, it is communicated and transacted on the blockchain, which is, as we had shared at the beginning of this room, I think before you jumped in here, the blockchain is just a digital ledger of transactions, whether it's cryptocurrency or an NFT. It is of that transaction. It's like your old checkbook statement, where you would have to balance your checkbook, that ledger that you had. This is a digital version of it. Each block holds certain amount of data, and once that block is completed, it just starts a new block where more data is held. And so it's ever ongoing digital blocks. And that's why they call it the blockchain. But with that also stated, that NFTs are, and we got this question last week about the same thing about, well, I thought metaverse was played out and I thought NFTs were played out. Well, for the way that they presented them a couple of years ago, yes, that way is played out, but they will be very intricate in our infrastructure moving forward. What do I mean by that? We all know about real estate, buying a house. We've all been through or know someone who's been through the process of buying or selling a home. And you know that you have to get the assessor out there to assess the property to make sure where the property lines are. You got to go talk to the county assessor's office to find your deed. You then have to get your real estate agent involved. They have to have an inspection done. There's all of this stuff that is so intricate within the system of buying or selling a house. It's a process, right? Well, Web3 NFTs will be able to make that process faster and smoother, because once the work is done the first time, it will not have to be done every time that house is bought or sold. And so it would, that house and property would be put into a smart contract, which would be known as an NFT. It would have a serial number or some sort of identification number that's unique to that property and house. And it would, in there, it would have all of the property lines that were done by the assessor. It would have the deed of the house and property. It would have the inspections done. It would have all of that, the nuances that you have to go through. And David's looking at me like with scowling eyes, because the process we went through, he was like, there's got to be a simpler way. This is so cumbersome. Yes. And so when we went through ours, my point being is, if David wanted to sell the house that we had in Houston to me, it was on an NFT digital smart contract, it would literally be at that point, David saying, well, I want, 5 Bitcoin for this, or you can pay me in US dollars. And essentially at that point, you say, all right, what's the smart contract number? You pull up the smart contract number, everything's vetted out, checks out. One party pays the other party the asking price, and that ownership is shifted over instantly. So these clearinghouses, the 4 major clearinghouses that are in the United States that does all of this work to say, all right, party A, do you have the funds to pay party B the asking price? And they go through this entire process. Well, blockchain will be able to do that for our finances. So when we say we want to buy this house and David says it's 5 Bitcoin, you got to pay me 5 Bitcoin for this house. Great. They look up in my digital wallet and they say, she's got 5 Bitcoin and more sitting there. And I pull that out and set it into an account to allocate that towards the NFT. And then all of a sudden, when the transaction's done, it's literally like swapping over the money for the baby instantly. It happens immediately, instantly, and there's no need for clearinghouses or real estate realtors. There's no more need for assessors. The county assessor office no longer has to have all these paper records that they store in the county assessor office. It just systemizes and digitalizes the entire process to where nobody can tamper with it. And that's the biggest thing that people don't realize, is that at that point, it is tamper proof, and that legitimacy then allows for transparency and things to happen quickly. Mr. Jones.
And so, you know, that's even more the reason why we're having these conversations now, Miss Erica, is so people can be aware of these things, because this isn't a common concept that is just something that's going to happen in the future. It's already happening now. There's a company out there right now that you can have your whole entire home set up on an NFT, and boom, you no longer have to pay that real estate agent, you know, $24,000, $30,000, because this process is already done. And not only that, a lot of you right now, if you do know somebody that's selling your house, you can be able to connect them to this particular system, and you can get money back from the sales of this house as well. And so this is where us as a culture, this is where us as a community has to be aware. And even unfortunately, for these real estate agents, times are shifting, just like times were shifting and have been shifting for car salesmen. Car salesmen are no longer needed. A lot of you are going on to, what is that, Zoom, or going on to Carvana. I know we did, and, you know, was able to find the cars for a whole lot less. Why? Because the car dealership, Carvana, no overhead, no car salesman, no parking lots, all of this stuff that they didn't have to manage. So, of course, they could sell the car for cheaper, which then therefore put a lot of car salesmen in a lot of, you know, chaos. And so this is where we are coming to the forefront and letting you guys know that this is happening, and we got to be aware of it now. And so I want to thank you all for joining us on from our fan base. Leonard is over here. We got our clubhouse over here from Joseph, Kennard, and New Live. We got Lady True over here and Erica with us as well. Leonard, anybody want to add on to this topic? Brother, I appreciate you coming and joining us over here as well. I know we Lonesome Rangers over here on fan base right now.
Yes, we are, but I'm not shotgun with you today. I'm just enjoying the conversation. Appreciate you acknowledging, but please continue on. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Lady Drew, I know you want to come back up, and I'm pretty sure you got something you want to add on. Please go right ahead.
Oh, yeah. For those listening, y'all know I am the Wonder Woman with the Siamese cat personality, only speaks facts, never opinions. I want to tell y'all, David and Tara are passionate about what they do. They are energetic. They are clear cut, and they mean what they say. You got a great couple here to listen to and learn from. Blessed be.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. And look, guys, we have our room every single week. On Tuesdays is our How-To Tuesdays. Yesterday, we talked about stop scrolling, start selling, social media strategies that convert. Please stop listening to these old, outdated, foundational people are suggesting. Please, no more newsletters, no more blogs. People ain't reading that shit. Just stop it right now, right? And then today we talked about, stop being the blockhead. Understand crypto and this blockchain, because times are changing, especially those of us that are entrepreneurs and have your own business. You're going to need to learn how to leverage these different cryptos in your business, because people are now going to come to you and say, hey, can I pay you in Bitcoin? Hey, can I pay you in ETH? Hey, can I pay you in this? And you better say yes, because you would be dumb not to, because prime example, Bitcoin is floating around 65, 70. Imagine if Bitcoin got up to 100,000 and somebody traded you, their Bitcoin now at 60. That's money. Hello. And so this is where we all get to win if we are ahead of the curve. And then definitely come and join us tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. This is Eastern Standard Time, or all the times I'm talking about as well, where me and Tara are going to have an amazing conversation of, how to build your community, the future of community, exploring future trends and strategies. Especially, you guys need to come and visit us in our Hello Plaza in Metaverse. It's 4 damn buttons. I don't know how many times we're going to have to tell you, you're missing the game, right? That you can be able to take that crusty, dusty Zoom that you're meeting your clients on, you're having your meetings on, your webinars, and get rid of that, right? I just had a meeting with one of our Pivot members, and I had the Zoom up, and then I had us in Metaverse. I'm like, how easy was it for you to get in here? Very. Which one do you like better? David, don't ask that dumbass question. I like this better. And so literally you guys have to get in there to experience what the Metaverse is, because we can talk about it till we're blue in the face. But until you actually press those 4 buttons, download like you did Fanbase, Clubhouse, LinkedIn, it's a free app that you can download. Go back to our Biz in a Box up at the top, hit that big old link that says Hello Plaza, and literally, boom, you drop right in there where me and Tara are standing in there right now. And you get to see, you don't have to get that fatigueness, of being and utilizing Zoom. And I shared this facts yesterday, and I'm going to keep sharing them until they get worn out, because I know if I was a business owner and somebody came to me and said, hey, this thing that might, blow up, that 25% of people around the world, which will spend an hour a day, will be in this by 2026, that this thing that we're talking about is going to be worth $1.5 trillion by 2030. Those of us that are entrepreneurs or business owners, what if I came to you and said, hey, increase your customer engagement by 70%? I hope your ass don't sit there and say no, okay? Your customer loyalty. You can increase your customer loyalty by 60% and get repeat visits utilizing this. Brand visibility, which is what we're all looking for. Increase your brand visibility by 40%. Employee engagement. If you're training, if you have your own team, if you have any of that you're utilizing Zoom, you're going to increase your engagement by 50%. If you have a retail store or doing anything within that retail industry, increase your sales up to 20 to 30%. This ain't David and Tara saying this. This is JP Morgan, that they themselves have already put themselves in Metaverse and Sandbox and Decentraland. Training efficiency increased by 75%. We go to CEOs and corporations and say, hey, you know how you're training and you got people coming to fly to your corporate headquarters, and you're putting them in a hotel, you're buying them food, you're doing all this shit. We can stop that right now. Let's drop it into this particular industry, and we're going to increase your training by 75%. Okay? That's a no-brainer. Remote collaboration. I was a VP for a company. I took 500 flights in 4 years. I was in and out of the airport like no other. I literally could be able to actually remote collaboration productivity, increase that by 30%. For the company, I would have been able to save them 35 to 40% on travel expenses by this particular Metaverse, right? And so all of these facts, I just dropped it, is from the Metaverse. That people are walking around here saying, oh, I'm not sure, I'm not positive about it. Well, get unpositive about it, because I talk facts, not feelings. And a lot of the times us as entrepreneurs, which is why a lot of us fail, is because we get caught in our feelings and opinions, and we're not following what these big boys are already doing. And I don't have to say it. Go ask Nike, go ask Gucci, go ask, BMW. Go ask H&H. Go ask, Johnson & Johnson. Go ask DHL. They're already there. Go ask Walmart. Walmart is closing down these stores because they are tired of being Jerry Springer, still a lot, central, and they're putting their stuff all online, because guess what? A lot of you are already shopping online. Hello. A lot of you aren't even much going into the restaurants eating anymore. You're ordering out, which is why Red Lobster, that should have closed down 30 years ago, is closing down finally. Cracker Barrel, which I thought was a damn, antique store, it's a damn restaurant. They're closing down. So a lot of these restaurants are closing down because of this new technology. And this is where we as entrepreneurs that we're bringing to you fair and square right here for you to open up and say, hey, I ain't changed a doorknob on my damn business since 2024. And this shit is not happening in the next 5-10 years where you think you got time. No, you ain't got that time.
Okay, David, can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to say this. Okay, so I'm, like I told you all, I'm an early adopter of things, right? I have always found it hard because I do adopt things, and then everybody else, then I have to educate them on coming along with me. For example, it was so revolutionary for me to have a community on WhatsApp. Like everybody's like, what are you doing? You don't need to be on WhatsApp. Why do you have that? Like, it's just it takes so much. So you all tell me, I know that you all you have a certain energy about yourself, trying to get people to open up their minds to all the things that you're saying, right? But what about us who want to adopt this, but we don't want to do all this education to teach people to come along with us? And I work in therapy. Everybody, they're still trying to sit in. I was so excited that COVID happened, because then I didn't have to go sit in the office with a person, and I could just meet with them online or virtually and have my sessions. So I was easily able to transition. So I can just sit in my bed like I'm doing right now and have my sessions. And so but I lost people because they always wanted to go sit in the office, sit on the couch. They have these images and these thoughts and these blocks in their minds, being a blockhead, right? That stops you from evolving. So I feel like my business, everybody is not moving at a faster rate than the people who I am working with, or who can work with me. So tell me about how to manage this, yeah.
Great question, right? And that's why we have our Done For You system, especially with our Biz in a Box. So prime example for Miss Marilyn. Miss Marilyn came to us with absolutely nothing. And now she's able to have her business showcase in the 2D world and be able to pivot people into the 3D world, because once again, people can make this transition into this metaverse from their cell phone, from their laptop, from their iPad, or these VR headsets. And the great thing about it is that's why we have our membership, to be able to teach people how to do these things. And the way that me and Tara have laid this out, it's very much, dummy proof at the end of the day. If your ass can't read, then we can't help you there. But, this is where we literally are able, straight up. And this is where we share with people, a lot of us aren't reading, right? A lot of us aren't reading.
That's so true. Yeah, people not reading. Nope.
They're not reading.
Now, they'll read something like, for example, you put a box, I put a box in this test on people. Put a box on my desk and said, don't open. They read that and they opened the box.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they couldn't figure out. They couldn't figure out the exit sign and to go the direction of the exit. I had to direct them towards the exit, but they couldn't. If you said don't, and I noticed that the way that you all are interacting is the way that your brand and your energy is more of come along with us. Get your head out of your ass kind of circumstance. You all are doing that kind of energy.
Yeah.
That's not.
I'm glad you
Erica said that's not me.
I'm glad you said that. But it doesn't have to be you.
Energy, and I appreciate that for other people. I do like when Tara talks, because she doesn't have that particular energy, but I can understand it.
Hold on, what you
That-
saying? Whoa, what you saying? I think you're saying something. I think you're pointing at somebody.
I am. Look, we got some transparency. I'm speaking towards what's going on here. What's going on? Like it's a good cop, bad cop situation y'all got going on.
That part, it is. No, you're spot on. No, it is. And
I'm very observant. I know what's going on here.
David is very much 2x4 between the eyes, and I'm very much, all right, let me pick you up, dust you off, and like explain why you got the 2x4 between the eyeballs.
it's all in love. It's all in love.
See, here. I wish I had somebody who could be the enforcer as well, you know. I wish I had that alone, but I don't have it, so I have to do.
But you do.
And I'm more of a granny kind of energy where I'm like, come on, sweetie. I'm like, you can try this. Let's give it a try. Which that's why I have a book called Be on Top, the Try on Philosophy. Give it a try. Let's see if you like it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the issue. A lot of people won't even try things.
Yeah.
They won't even do it at all.
And for people, you know, for instance, Erica, you know, like, you know, it's clear that you're like, I'm not going to drag people along with me. You don't have to. That's where you get to go set up and do what you want to do, showcase it to people, and just show them. Because let me tell you, just because it is our business to, you know, educate and share value and share why people need to make that pivot. That is what we do, is help people make that pivot. So, of course, that is what our marketing and our messaging is. But for someone who's not doing that and just wants to be able to get their business and their brand up and ready to roll in Metaverse and in Web3, that is why, you know, just do it. And as you're saying, I'm there. I'm ready to do it. And I don't care if anybody comes along with me or not. You know, I want them to see it, but it's not that you're going to drag them along with you. And that's, I'll be honest, that's a lot of my MO. I'm just going to go do it. You can check out, you can watch me do this.
I know that much.
That's kind of
yes, I'm a model things kind of person. I'm a model it. Words don't teach people. You can watch me. For example, this is Tulsa remote program. I came to Tulsa from Nashville. Everybody's like, oh my goodness, why did you move over there? Well, because they paid me $10,000 to move.
Hello.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
you
part.
take your whole family and just go over there? Yes, I am. And I'm going to live the best life that I can live because it's not expensive here.
Yep.
And I can move around the way I want to. Like, I'm a very radical kind of person. And everybody's like, but how do you do it? Just get up and do it. Like, it doesn't take that much.
You know how
But
many,
I don't talk about it. I just do it. And then they're like, I'm so inspired by you.
that part.
All day long. I'm just gonna keep on doing me. And that's just that's where I'm at. I appreciate you, Tara, and saying that. So what ultimately, if I have somebody who has an issue with like coming along, I'm just gonna send them to y'all.
Yeah.
You are actually
We
not
have a
y'all,
great
but
referral
David,
program.
and let David hit him over the head.
Just don't always be the 2x4 between the eyeballs, you know? And that's the thing. We have a great referral program because of that, because people don't want to explain what we do. Miss Marilyn, you know, bless her, she loves what we do. And she has sent us so many people that have done business with us. And she's like, I don't know. Look, all I know is they got my shit straight. And so you go talk to them. And every one of the people that show up that she sent over, they literally have said, Miss Marilyn has told me to come and talk. And we're like, okay, well, what are you up to? What are you doing? And then they're like, oh my God, I'm in love with you. Well, let's go. Let's do this. Because there are people out there that need help to show them how to do it. There's people out there just need us to tell them how to do it, and off they go. And then there's people out there that just want to pay us and say, you do it for me, and then I'm going to go play in it, you know, like build me the house and I'm going to go decorate it. Great. Here you go. And the biggest thing I would say is that there are so many times that we have heard people tell us the exact same thing of, you know, they're not ready. You know, like for instance, when David and I left the country and we sold everything and became digital nomads, there were so many conversations of people going, well, how did you do it? We're like, we just did it. We made the choice. Okay, we're doing it. Yeah, we're doing this.
Take that much.
And then you sell everything.
And it was the perfect timing because we made money on the cars, we made money on the house, and I mean, we would have lost so much money if we had.
We waited a year or two more, and now we would have lost our ass on
our
everything.
house. We would have got a lot more, but
I doubt.
yeah.
But you know, at the end of the day, the simple fact is that you know everybody's got a bowl of porridge that they like. Some like it hot, some like it cold, some like it in the middle. And so do what works for you. If you're a mover and groover, then do it. Look, I'll tell you, David and I say this: we much rather see your feet move than your lips move. Because when your feet are moving, you're actually taking action to do something. When your lips are doing it, it's great. But we have heard so many times people share with us, oh, I'm going to do this. And we know what that means. We know that you're just,
we all know what that means.
Still trying to sell yourself on it and you're still trying to find it. And it's like we tell everybody, okay, just do it. Let's see your footwork. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm a business execution coach. That's how I am. And I also do slow walk people like, all right, do this. All right, now let's do this. Because I also have a 12-year-old and I understand some people need that, like step by step by step. Why I love being a fractional COO is because I like to write out the steps. And here you go. There you go. Do the steps. You need a checklist. Feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
That's like whatever to get it done. Yeah. So I definitely.
Hey, you guys are talking about just get up and get it done. Let me inform you, honey. It's a whole story, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you. I was homeless for 2 years. I saved my money and I moved to and stop being scared.
Yep, you're absolutely right, Lady Drew, is making that move. Is just do it. Just bust a move.
Like Art Williams says.
Make a decision and move forward. Like that's all too often. Like, look, my dad used to say it this way, and I apologize for the French, but shit or get off the pot. Like we all too often sit around in life.
Uh-oh, I'm rubbing off on you. Erica not gonna like that. She's being a nice cop.
Well, what Erica doesn't know is I'm probably the bully behind the scenes. No.
Yeah, she puts me in the closet and beats me until I bled.
I did not
And you
know that.
enjoy it. You like dominatrix.
Well,
Damn it, Lady Drew, why are you telling all my secrets? Go ahead.
Right.
Just have the first and second aid kit ready, baby.
I just know where the local hospital is.
Yeah, we in Mexico. They're pretty good around here.
No, I tell you, but it's that, guys. It's the simple fact of just fucking, excuse my French, but do it. It gets David and I behind the scenes get so frustrated sometimes because we're like, just do it. Just do it. Just push the button. You don't got the nuclear codes to the United States or anything else in this world. You're not going to blow up, and it's like I saw a TikTok the other day. A lot of people in 2020 busted a move. Some people moved out of the city into their own homestead so they could start homesteading. Some people busted a move out of a large, like a California to an Idaho. I know that for facts because I'm originally from Idaho, and the amount of Californians that have moved up over the past 10 years and in 2020 was astonishing. Nothing's wrong with it. Different pace of life, right? But I saw a TikTok the other day of a couple who has two daughters that are teenage daughters, and they moved from California, Southern California, to Idaho, up to Boise area. By the way, that's the area I'm from, is in those neck of the woods. They moved up there, and here they are in 2021. They moved up, and in 2023, the end of 2023, they decided that they want to go back to Southern California. Idaho's not where they wanted to be, and so they're selling the house that they purchased in Idaho now, and they're moving back. And the reason I'm sharing that story is just like Erica said. She picked up and she moved because they paid her. Hell yeah, I'm moving. And guess what? If it turns out that you don't like it or it doesn't work, guess what? You can do something different. That is the beauty.
Exactly, because there are several programs, you all, nationally. Like there's one in West Virginia, one in Alabama, there's one in Rochester, New York, and I've been scoping them all out. Okay, I'm trying to go all the places and get paid.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's the same thing why David and I chose to be digital nomads. We looked at each other and said, here we are. Our overhead is X amount a month for all of our stuff. And why? And really, especially when you're at 2020, 2021, when you're just sitting there and you got 2 cars that you have notes on that are just sitting in your driveway, and you're not even driving one of them half the time because of everybody's at home.
And all of our businesses was online.
100%
We were literally
of our
sitting at home.
business, yeah.
We were on Zoom.
And we're like, why? We could be sitting by the beach paying a fraction of what we're paying, and like, you know, we're having a balance of a life that we wanted, that we were tired of, you know, corporate America and that bullshit. So it's just the decision of making that decision and doing it.
Leonard
Yeah,
wants.
in fact, guys, when I was homeless, which was beyond my own control, I moved to Woodsville, North Carolina, renting a house and rebuilding life. You can do it. It's a matter of applying yourself correctly.
That part.
How
Hold
are
on.
you using your time?
Leonard wanted to know, Miss Erica, what programs was that that you were talking about with the movement and things of that sort? Do you want to share any of those by chance?
Okay, so the name of the program is called Tulsa, TULSA Remote. And you know, Tulsa, this is where Black Wall Street is. So it does have that historical thing. Now, I will say they are hoarders of information. They are very much gatekeeping, cliquish here. And I found more collaboration in Oklahoma City, but Oklahoma City is only an hour and 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
Now you can search, just Google states that have remote programs, and you will find a listing of all the ones, and you can go in and apply to each one of those. Now, they're not going to want you if you got some kind of back, you know, if you're a criminal or you're they want.
Hold on, I know somebody got 34 felonies and what you talking?
You got jokes.
What you
I'm
talking?
just telling you, there's an application process, a background check, an interview. They're going to ask you about your income. They're going to ask you about things because they want somebody who's going to revitalize their economy.
Yeah.
So just want to say that too, that you need to be
On the up and up.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got you.
Yeah.
Don't be having 34 felonies like other people that are known.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Right. I mean, why would they want you? They already got them here.
Yeah. Well, and that's, you know, hopefully that helped Leonard. If not,
You got any more questions, Leonard? Please ask away, brother.
Leonard, you can reach out to me. What is he? I'm on LinkedIn.
He's on fan base.
He's over on.
Go ahead, Leonard.
Fan base. Y'all tell me about fan base. What is this about?
What? We got you covered. Go ahead, Leonard. We can't hear you, brother. No, we can't hear you. That's weird. You know the drill. Go out and come back in, and we'll see if we can hear you again. Yeah, we'll have to tell you about Fanbase. Fanbase is another application that we're using. And guys, look, we don't play around. We are on Fanbase. We're on Clubhouse. We're on LinkedIn Audio. We are live on our Facebook channel. We're live on LinkedIn Live. We're live on our Instagram. We're live on Twitch. We're live on X. We're live on LinkedIn on my side, and we're live on YouTube all at once. And we're in our Hello Plaza showcasing our metaverse.
So can I, with my membership level, can I be live in all these places?
Dave?
Yes, you can, man. We got you covered.
We can hear you, Leonard.
We can hear you, Leonard. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, you mentioned something about West Virginia too. Is there a program there?
Oh, there is. Yes, Leonard. Let me go find it. So look for a West Virginia remote program. Okay, yes. Type in your Google West Virginia remote worker program. And there's several cities in that one that you can go to within West Virginia. I know plenty of people who are in who's in Tulsa. They found out about the program. They're like, I'm gonna leave and come back. I said, well, maybe they won't. Okay, so I looked it up. It's ascendwv.com. wv.com. That's the website.
Ascend is ASCEND.
Correct.
There you go.
Girl, you spelling bee contest.
Man, don't put me in a spelling bee contest.
Oh, wait a minute. They get, well, I only got $10,000 with TOSA. They're paying you $1,200 plus a free outdoor recreation something here.
1,200 or 12,000?
$12,000.
Must have moved to West Virginia.
Nice.
Applications are now open. Yeah.
Look, Erica's gonna be over there applying now.
Where you at? Go ahead, brother.
I was trying to go to Rochester though. I really wanted to go to the Rochester program, Rochester, New York. I always wanted to live in New York. But
Nice.
that application is not open. So I'm so excited to get in here and put everything that I got going on. A new mentorship program. I cannot wait to put it in there. So I cannot wait to learn about all the membership bits that I have because I want to I'm creating a thing called Thrive Oasis. So with this storefront, can I make it look like I want it to look? Can I make it look like an oasis?
So funny you say that. In our storefront, and when I'll send you the calendar so you can book an appointment with me, and I can share with you even further that in our storefront you have the storefront mall that will be able to showcase everything that you have to offer, from your mentorship to your coaching to your book, and literally we deck that whole entire room out, and then you get an extra room that is called the Oasis. Yes, ma'am. And this actually has a whole entire back room that then we literally customize for yourself, and we put all your pictures, and this is where you have your Zoom at. This is where you have your masterclass at. This is where you can do your podcast at. And
okay, what about courses?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Shut up talking.
No, we not. This is where we take this to the next level, right? To where even like for our Pivot membership, we're building this out now where you can go in and you can watch the videos in the metaverse, other than going into the actual Web 2 version. We're having it to where we can build it out in the Web 3. We have it out on one territory, another world, but now we're putting it into this. And so this is literally where you guys have to understand, if you're using Zoom, if you have an audience, if you have a business and you want to showcase it in a different way, this is a whole lot easier. Miss Giggles, Tracy, on our Clubhouse side, she can share with you how easy it is to get into our metaverse. And so when we say the adaption, when we say adopting and people being able to make that transition, it's literally pressing 4 buttons and
because we can see where we are going with Web3. You know, again, there's going to be a whole bunch of differences of opinions. We've listened to all types of opinions, opinions from the point of view of I hate Web3 because I'm scared that it's going to, you know, be further control, to all the way to the people who are like, I love Web3 because it's going to be, you know, where we own have more of our control over our content and what we create, and what we own. And so the beautiful part about it is being a part of it. If we are tuned in and a part of it, we will then dictate where we're going. But if we live in fear of it, because that's what they showcase to us in the movies, is the fearful side of it, of, you know, aliens taking over, or, you know, aliens, you know, in control, or not aliens, robots, or robots taking
like,
over.
what are you talking
not
about?
aliens, I meant robots. I
Like,
don't
girl,
know
you
why I
going
went to
30,000.
aliens. But anyways, back to those people. Yeah. So my point being is there's that fear side of it that a lot of people, because that's what the movies are sharing with us. And like Lady Drew said earlier, in relationship to the politicians, I will also say this in relationship to movies. You know, it is a movie. They are telling you a vision on the television. And so you need to be mindful that this is scripted, and they want you to see it in a certain light of how they're presenting it to you. And this is the beauty of what we get to do as humans, is have free thinking. And a lot of
Hey,
times,
Tara, I just wanted to say, listen, guys,
what you got?
there's nothing to fear but fear itself. There's good and bad in everything. It depends on how someone uses it.
Mhm.
You don't need to be afraid of it. What you do need to do is learn everything about it, because regardless of whether you like it or not, our world is moving forward, and electronics and things like that are going to be a tremendous part of it. So if you need to get a certification to boost your skills and stuff like that, do so, because the more value you are, the better chance you're gonna have for pay raises and things like that. So don't be afraid of it. Learn everything you can about it, because, like I said, it matters whose hands it's in. It can be good or bad. There is nothing to be afraid of.
And this is even more importantly why we share with people that, you know, a lot of the times we have these jobs and we expect these jobs to keep us hired. Unless you work for a nonprofit, I'm here to tell you right now, your job is a for-profit. And if they can find something that's faster, reliable, cheaper, they're going to use it. Just like Tara was talking about earlier, about how, you know, when the pandemic came around, we didn't use the cars. We didn't use this. And a lot of you, just like we did, we cut the gym. We cut these memberships because we weren't using it. Your jobs are there to do the same. And so don't expect your job to have another, you know, a position for you. It's up to you to retool, relearn, and learn these AI tools and learn these strategies, because we're all going to be able to create at the speed of thought. So we used to look at side hustles as being bad. A side hustle doesn't have to be just about work and reaching out to people and all these other things. It's literally turning your passion into profits, whatever that is, and enjoying it, because so many other people enjoy it. And that's where this metaverse takes us, to where we can build our communities, we can collaborate together, and there's enough abundance for us all, because we're moving to where 7 billion people have access to everyone, with the translation of languages, with it being, you know, moved around, and the speed of thought, where just the other day we put on our TikTok where they have now the holograms, where somebody can be in a hologram and put it in, you know, a rural area. And now these kids can learn from an actual professor, and not somebody that thinks that they're a professor. And the education level goes up with this technology going along with what Lady Drew shared. So she's right. It is happening. There is no if, what's, buts about it. It's happening.
And babies, I'm 61 years young. I will never be old. But let me tell you, like my grandmother, which amazed me, she's seeing going from a washboard to a washing machine. People were terrified of the washing machine until they got accustomed to it. But the changes are going to happen. We've got to be ready, and we've got to hit the ground running, or else we're going to get left behind.
That part. Lenart, you had something?
Yeah, I was just thinking about what you were saying. They're already talking about disease X in the next pandemic. And if something like that were to roll out in the next 6 months, we're all back at home again. We're all back online. Metaverse takes off in the stratosphere, and everything you're saying right now comes to fruition. So, it's kind of great you guys are having these conversations now because you're going to be at the forefront when this thing blows open. If we're all back at home, sheltering in place because we can't go out. Now, all your deliveries, everything they got wrong the last time, they're going to get right next time around. And it might be to your benefit in some ways, but to a lot of people, they're going to get caught, with their pants down, in other words.
Yeah.
They're not, on top of it or out in front of it.
When I left corporate America, you're absolutely right. When I left corporate America, I was in the contract interiors side of things, which basically is, you see the high office buildings, they all have offices in them. We did everything from the build out to outfitting it, furniture, to the design, to the artwork, to everything, the aesthetics of the inside of those of offices and businesses. And when I left in 2022, but before that, from 2018, having the conversation, my counterparts in corporate America would look at me like I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when I would talk about where we are moving to a digital age, where we're not going to be in what we are doing now. Like, it is not going to be where I'm selling office furniture or interior design work or, anything of interiors to a business, because a business is going to be 100% in the future. They're going to be in metaverse. And then 2020 came around, and it was crazy, guys, because in February of 2020, obviously March is when everything broke loose. In February, I was telling my supervisor and the owner of the company, like, hey, you guys, we need who heads on swivels. There's whatever's coming down the pipeline. We need to be, outfitted to where we can work remotely. And they got tired of listening to me. And one day I got pulled into the office about having a conversation about, okay, Tara, what would you do if this was your company? And I broke it down to them. I was like, this is what you need to be doing. You need to be on top of it. You need to be having to where we can go digital. We need to have, these types of apps and applications in place. We need to have this protocol in place. And my supervisor just looked at me and laughed it off and was like, okay, whatever. We're not going to be going home and stuck in our houses. And then less than a month later, here we are into a pandemic situation where everybody's forced to be at the house and in lockdown.
Because nobody thought we were going to get locked up.
And let me tell you, the first Zoom that we had to do while we were in lockdown, I looked at my supervisor in front of all of the entirety of the company and said, so we're not going to be in lockdown, huh? So now what do we do? And I was the smart ass, because at the end of the day, I was trying to share. And when I left corporate America, I told them, look, you are not going to have a job doing what you're doing right now of what we've done for the past 20 years. And these people are like career people. They've been there for 20 years selling, all of this product and all of these interiors and things like that and managing these projects. They've done all of that. And they're going to die on that hill. And I'm thinking, you ain't going to be on this hill in 5 years, because especially like you were just saying, Leonard, if we go back into disease X or whatever they're calling it, and we're into another lockdown, companies already know the overhead is so much cheaper by being in a digital environment for a workspace. And you can still have accountability you can have more accountability in the digital space. But because we have old school owners that are running a lot of these corporations, they live in that butts and seats. I need to see the whites of your eyeballs for production to be done. And I can tell you where I was getting about an hour worth of production done in an 8-hour day versus 8 hours of production when I was at home. They got a lot more from me when I was at home than I would when I went to the office.
And not only that, I think one thing also, Leonard, regardless of if this pandemic happens again, this metaverse is here. And just off the facts that I listed off, when we go to corporations, they're like, yeah, we're doing that right now, because they are also being preventative and understand the cost savings alone. With me going 500 flights in 4 years, they literally could have sent our clients, my top clients, some Oculuses or some Apple Vision Pros, or hell, even their laptop, and joined us in our actual meeting room. And we were able to conduct all the things that I needed to as if I was there. And once again, the facts are laid out that you're going to get a 50% more engagement than we are here. And it blows me away when people say, oh, well, what about the in-person meetings and the belly to belly? 70% of businesses now is on Zoom and not in person. So what are we talking about? Let alone when we're in these rooms, we're in a different experience and we're collaborating even more so than we would in person or at these happy hour events and things of that sort. So we are making that transition. That would boost this and make this go, a whole lot faster for people to be forced to. But one, like you said, we don't want to have people make the force. We want to be able to see the transition and for them to be set up. And the last thing, right, is we don't want people for the gold rush. If people had got to the gold rush before everybody else and their mama got there, they were set up.
Yeah.
While other people that waited till it was too damn late, it then was more expensive. It then was a learning trend. It was then all the rest of it. Now you're fighting against time. And so once again, do people have a business or a hustle?
Speak. Ooh.
Well, and at the I'll share this at the end of the day. It's the simplicity of, we don't wish anybody for us to go into whatever this disease X is, for anybody to lose their life, but it's a part of the game. And as lady Drew was saying earlier, it is watch what they are doing and don't trust what they're saying. And a part of this is in order to get the masses moved where they want them, they have to do things like they are now. I mean, guys, it's coming. It just came out the other day that in a sworn testimony that Dr. Fauci now acknowledges that a lot of the information he shared at the beginning of the pandemic was stuff he made up. And it's just about understanding. When you understand this game that is being played through, it is all interconnected. And this Web3, this blockchain, this fintech, financial technology, all of this is interconnected. David always says, power will not relinquish power, which we can, look at anything. So we can say that the United States is the most powerful country in the world. Well, we're losing that dominance because of financial positioning. And that is because of Web3 coming down the pipeline. So, of course, there is a playbook behind the scenes that none of us know exactly what it is. But when you have enough people that are coming out and starting putting the pieces together, you start to, I can pretty much fill in the blanks. And you understand where we're going. And that's why David and I share about Web3, blockchain, cryptocurrency, AI, robotics, holograms, all of this stuff. We share about it because in the simplicity of it, it comes down to that. It comes down to the simple fact that it's all interconnected, and the finances that are interconnected with, the finances and being interconnected with, the systems, and the systems that are interconnected with the disease control that they push out, or whatever, narrative they're going to push. It's all a part of the game. And it is to keep you looking at look over here, why we do this over here. Like when you dive into cryptocurrency, like I have identified so many things that I'm like, I see where we're going. I see what they're sharing, and the shiny object is. And the shiny object in cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. I'm not saying it's not, maybe a short-term little something you want to look at for short-term. Great, do what you want to do. But when you start understanding the full game of it, Bitcoin is the shiny object that they want you to pay attention to, while they get everything else laid out behind the scenes, because they want to make sure they keep control, they keep the power, and they keep the money. And that's how it goes. And they don't mind if, let me break this
money and the power.
Exactly. Let me break this fact down to you. Less than 5% of the world's population knows anything about cryptocurrency. Less than 1% owns cryptocurrency of the world's population. That is a very small number. Look, Governments do not care if 1% of the world's population gains a little bit of financial gains on this. If they can keep the majority, 99% of everybody else in the dark and believing whatever they push out on the mass media markets. And so the CNNs, the MSNBCs, all of these, the Foxes, all of these channels are paid to say what they're paid to say in order to keep you at the shiny object looking over here and not paying attention to what's really happening, because they ain't talking about it on mass media.
So we can pay attention to the Kim Kardashians, the Drake, the Future, the NBA, all this other shit while they're playing around and putting this stuff in order. And we're arguing and getting in trouble over this stupid stuff. And it's here. And so this is where, Erica, this is for you, where I knock your ass upside the head and I say, stop doing stupid shit and start paying attention. Because we talk about, want to be ahead and want to do something different. But when we bring something different, but
you only had to, you know what I'm saying? You only had to come to one of my LinkedIn audio rooms, talk a little bit. I already was ready. I just needed to really get to know you when you had some time. And then guess what? I'm signed up. So don't, not me.
You leave my name off that list.
Y'all made me go look up Rochester and apply for their program while we sitting here talking. So yeah, I'm not about no mess. And then what's his name? Lil Wayne, whatever his name is. I want to ask him what made you be interested in West Virginia, because I was a little leery of going over there. That's why I didn't apply.
Oh, Leonard. I was like, Lil Wayne.
So, where's Lil Wayne at?
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Between us in the room, I actually live in West Virginia. They don't tax your pension. So I'm in the supermarket now. When I get out of here, I'm gonna do a deep dive, and I'm going deep, and I'm gonna see what it's all about. I might just put my wife on to it. It depends on what to look. I'll help her build it out. I might just let my wife do it. I don't know. I'll see.
Don't mess with that pension. Don't touch the pension.
I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
But just like that, with us being in this room, being able to come up with this, that's something that you could literally be able to create a course on. You could create a membership on. You could create a whole entire, metaverse world on, where people can come and visit and get this information about. And so this is where we share with you guys all, is that we all have something that we like to do. And now more than ever, we can be able to transition that into understanding your value is now worth something. And now we all have the ability to do that, where we don't have to spend millions or thousands or have to know the tricks and secrets of the algorithms and this, that, and the other as Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Now it's just about building our community and saying, hey, come and visit me. And one person saying, hey, come here. One person saying, hey, come here. And this is where our Hello Plaza comes into place, to where now everybody just goes to the Hello Plaza when we're already there. So it's the old school mentality where, hey, what mall are you going to? Oh, I'm going there too. I'm going to end up with a shirt. I'm going to end up with this. I'm going to end up eating lunch. I'm going to end up doing this. And boom.
Pretzel for me, man.
What you said?
Auntie Anne's pretzel.
I thought you said something else. I was like, what?
Oh, Lord.
I was like, girl, we on live. But anyhow, it brings back the old mentality of how we used to look at things. And so this is even more so why we having this conversation. We appreciate you guys joining us today. It's been absolutely amazing. We've went to the moon and back talking about, don't be a blockhead, understanding crypto versus blockchain. Understand that blockchain is nothing more than the receipt, right? That everybody can see. They don't need to know that it's you, but everybody now can see what's what.
Transparent ledger. And then the crypto is going to be these different types of you
crypto.
Buying chicken wings every day, we're going to see it.
Yeah, we're going to see it. We're going to see it if we know that PIN number, right? And then, the crypto is going to be different exchanges that we use other than the dollar. And as we leave out of here, there's going to be somebody that's going to listen to this now or in the room now that might say, you know what? The dollar isn't going nowhere. What are you talking about? We're going to be using the dollar for the next 30 years.
Okay, OJ.
Baby, break it down for them.
Well, I had this conversation with a gentleman that lived
Oh,
here
whoa.
in Mexico.
Hey, I want you to break this down like 5th grade level.
I will.
Don't go into this high level shit.
No, I won't.
Okay.
There was a gentleman here that is American. Him and his wife live here in Mexico. David and I ran into him. We were having a conversation, and I was sharing with him that the dollar is, going away. It is already, if you look up what the true value of a dollar is, it is under $1.
Google that shit.
I think it's in somewhere in the 90 cents department, 90 to 95 cents. That is what that is what they show you, but in reality, it is actually below 50 cents of what our dollar actually is valued. We lost the value when we went off the gold standard. Not a problem. They put us on the petrol standard. What's that mean? Well, they went over to Saudi Arabia, and this is very important. And for all those that are in this room, is going to get some good juice right here. 5th grade level. They went over to the Saudi Arabia departments of the Middle East, and they said, "Hey, let's work a deal. You guys got a lot of petrol oil, and we want to be able to trade that within the United States dollar. And we will offer our military backing as support. So if you trade your oil in our dollar, then we will give our military support. We'll, come fight your wars or whatever and keep you protected." And so they took the deal. And specifically, Saudi Arabia took the deal. On June 9th, so in 4 days from now, that agreement between the United States and Saudi Arabia expires. And Saudi Arabia has already told United States, we are not renewing the contract with you, and we are no longer accepting United States dollar.
Hello.
That is a huge blow. So that means at the end of the day, our money was backed by petrochemical. We are no longer having that backing. If you want to Google some things, go Google BRICS nations, BRICS.
Lennar, you
When
got
does that
something?
expire?
June 9th.
This month.
Yeah, 4 days from
4
now.
days from now.
4 days from now.
Damn.
Yeah. And that's why the Iraqi dinar,
On Sunday.
the Iraqi dinar, which was something that was never ever able to be traded on the stock market or the currency exchanges. If you can go into a currency exchange and move your money from dollar to pesos, Mexican pesos, the Iraqi dinar was never available. And in the last 3 months, they put the Iraqi dinar back on the currency and to where they're going to be trading in it. So if
I got millions of that.
There you go.
Back in 04.
Yep.
Millions of that.
And you got
So
it
they're
for
gonna finally let that appreciate.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
So you're setting on, that's an asset that you
We'll take a
invested.
10% cut play of that information.
Hey, if it appreciate like the Kuwaiti dinar, it took 15 years to come up, and it was the strongest dollar.
Yeah.
And it matured.
Yep,
You know.
absolutely.
And so the Iraqi dinar, I think when I bought it, it was like 1,400, 24,000, whatever it is.
Mhm.
But it was like, but if it comes up, man, and you're talking like, oh,
Yes, sir.
I'm
Don't be
sitting on a
telling
couple
anybody
million of
that.
that.
Don't be telling anybody that information is what I would be saying.
Nah, hey.
Yeah.
Hey, I already gave Ron some love. I'm about to up them loves a little more.
Exactly.
Fan base love.
Exactly. So go out and Google BRICS nation. It's BRICS stands for Brazil is the B, R is Russia, I is India, C is China, and S is South Africa. And there are July of this year, there have another convention of the BRICS nation, and there is 97 additional countries that are going to it this year because there is over 23 nations that are a part of the BRICS little nation thing that they're doing. Now, what is the BRICS nations at a 5th grade level? This is where the United States has the largest GDP in the world, as we know. That means that basically our goods and the amount of our goods and whatnot. So then into the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th largest are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And they got together and said, hey, guys, we're tired of the big bully on the playground called the USA, who is making us trade everything in the United States dollar, petrochemicals, anything, doesn't matter, but they're making us do it. And we're tired of this. So now they've come together and created an allegiance between them that now says that China and Brazil can trade anything between them on a currency that they agree upon, and it does not have to be the United States dollar. So when David asked me this question, is the dollar losing its value? It's already lost value. It's going to continue to lose value. In June 9th, in 4 days, it's going to lose major value. And what's happening is power does not relinquish power. The United States is not going to relinquish this power. And so when we look at Web3 and cryptocurrencies and blockchain, we have to understand they already have a gameplay book behind a game book behind the scenes, a playbook behind the scenes that they are slowly playing out that is going to allow them to maintain power. Now, I can speculate to the day is long about what that's going to be. But essentially what's going to happen is that where we will all then go into a world currency to where we can be able to move money around the world where we do not have to pay for the currency exchange fee or what that exchange rate is. That is going to be where 1 equals 1. That's where we're moving to. But that is also going to be where they're going to have the playbook behind the scenes of how they maintain the power and they get a portion of your pie. And that is why for now, if you think about it, traditional banks, how do they get their money? Well, you put your money in the bank and they take your $10, $20, $50,000 that you put in the bank and they turn around and they invest it and they make tons of money off of that. And then they loan that money out to people at a high interest rate, whether they pay it back or they don't. If they don't pay it back, they roll all of that debt into a federal bond. And then they sell these bonds to Japan and China and all these other countries and to us on the stock market. And we buy our debt to where we're basically dipping twice into the bucket.
Shorting on
yes,
stock.
Exactly. And so what happens is now Japan and China, if you look up and you research and you read, it's not very hard to find, but over the last 90 days, they have been dropping our United States bonds like crazy, selling them faster they could, which is why back in March of 2023, a little over a year ago, you saw the bank that crashed out in Silicon Valley Bank that crashed is because basically what they did is the investment money that the investors had put into that bank, they turned around and they invested it out. And when they invested it, they put it into bonds. And all of a sudden, these investors that were banking with them came back and said, I want my money back. And they all went on a bank run, these large investors, and pulled one of their millions of dollars back. And at that point, it forced the bank to sell the bonds at a underappreciated value to where it was not mature, and they lost money. And essentially at that point they said, we can't pay you back. We lost your money. It's you taking the money and going out and buying a bunch of pizza and eating all the pizza. And then David and I come back and go, give us our money back. And they go, I can't, sorry, I ate all the pizza and it's gone. And so it's having to understand the large play is all tied to the financial system, and they keep you distracted with the Diddy stuff. They keep you distracted with the Epstein stuff. They keep you distracted with all of this stuff, whatever it is, because they don't want you paying attention to the financial side of things of what's going on behind the scenes, which is why even Bitcoin, now that people are starting to pay attention to cryptocurrency, they're keeping you distracted by watching Bitcoin. And that's not where you should be paying attention to.
No financial advice. That's
not financial advice.
Go ahead, Leonard. What you got, brother?
Hey, she mentioned something to me. Well, something came to mind. So the U.S. dollar, like you said, it's lost. When Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1973, it lost 90% of its value. Since then, it's lost 90% of that remaining 10%. So we're pretty much on fiat currency right now.
Exactly.
Now, if this actually happens and the bricks come tumbling down, what does that do to fuel prices? Because nobody's driving, nobody's going anywhere.
Yep. Bingo. What
What
does that do to fuel prices? You know, that's where that's exactly what we're talking about, is that where all of a sudden the pyramid that was set up to work in the favor of the elite and the Rockefellers and the high elites and the politicians in our country, it is now to where we are flipping it on its head. And what's going to happen to the gas and oil prices now that people that they're threatening? But this is why they're threatening a disease X to push you into a second pandemic, because now it's going. Here's my speculation on this, is that they will push us into something like another pandemic that we've had. And then at that point, people are going to be hurting so bad to even keep a roof over their head and food in their mouth. And they're going to come down the pipeline with this stimulus that we all saw happen. And I put my air quotes up, my fingers. They're going to have a stimulus comes down the pipeline. And this is what they did within the 2020 pandemic. And when they did that, this is going to be digital. It's not going to be sent out in a check. This is going to be issued through a digital cryptocurrency that they then become a CBDC, is what they call it. And at that point, they get everybody's buy-in to be in on a universal side of things in order for you to be able to make ends meet.
Adoption.
And that's where the mass adoption comes from. And then the oil prices and the gas. And while they're doing this, they're incentivizing companies to be in metaverse, to be digital, to work remotely. We'll pay you this amount of, kickback if you shut down your office and move everybody remotely and digitally. They're going to do this on purpose, because at that point, they're no longer going to need the gas and the oil, because we've been taken off of it and we lost our backing. And so we need to take our dependency away from it.
And companies have already been doing this, as we shared with you guys. Nike, Gucci, Johnson & Johnson, DHL, Amazon, all these companies are already implementing their business in metaverse. And right now, about 70% of people are already remote workers. And so the transition is already there. They're just not telling us, which is why we continuously have these rooms to keep those people that do want to be aware and do want to be the futuristic of where we're going and pivot their business now before it's too late.
As a side note, I actually have a gas station and I'm trying to get out of it. But the only upside of that is I got a liquor license. So when people were sitting home last pandemic, man, I couldn't keep liquor on the shelf. I was like printing money.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm not selling fuel, I will certainly be selling booze.
Yep.
That's the upside.
And you have real estate. That's the other side. It's not really even about that, what you're selling there. It's the real estate that you own. So, this is a very intricate puzzle when you start to dive into it. And this is why we have these conversations, to bring awareness to people that they need to get, like Erica said, get in it now or get left behind. We say this all the time. It is, if you do not make the pivot, it is going to leave you in the dust. The future's here. It's not coming. The future is here, which means at the end of the day, let me just say this, like Lady Drew said earlier, in the don't trust and watch what they do. This is never set up in our benefit. It is always set up to where they can benefit off of what we do. And so it is when we have conversations like this, and we sometimes I use cryptic language too, guys, because there are certain words that are, that are trigger words that can land people, in hot trouble for being able to share this information, because this is why they want to get rid of TikTok. If you guys know, TikTok is not owned by China. It is not. The gentleman who is partial owner of TikTok is of Chinese descent, but was raised in Singapore and currently lives in Singapore. Did you know that there are, I think, 3 to 5 different United States companies that are also in ownership of TikTok? The reason why they want to ban TikTok or get rid of TikTok is because Mr. Mark Z with Meta does not like A, the competition, and B, the government has not been able to censor the owners of TikTok to make them censor their platforms like they have been able to do with Mark Z. Mark Z provides a lot of money to these politicians in order for them to do what he wants, and in return, he has to do what they want. It is a you scratch my back, I scratch your back. And so the whole reason why TikTok is going through the legal problems they're going through right now is because of the Department of Ownership of Facebook and Instagram. And that person and that entity those entities don't want that. So they have backed this this bill into where it is the ban of TikTok, because what happens, people on TikTok, yes, they're still censored a little bit, but there are people out there that are doing investigative journalism and investigative research that is like this, that they are breaking things down to the masses where a fifth grader could understand of how this is connected behind the scenes. A lot of you would call it conspiracy theories. It is not conspiracy theories when this stuff is coming true. And so we have to understand.
Just like aliens. Ain't no goddamn aliens out there. Government came out and told y'all asked you was like, what?
And there's going to be more. Why did the Pope call a meeting a couple of weeks ago to talk about essentially aliens and what to do when you have an alien encounter? Because they know that that's the next playbook to keep you a shiny object over here, not paying attention to the financial system behind the scenes. At the end of the day, let me say this. It is no coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, first of all. It is no coincidence that when the Titanic was getting ready to set sail, that Rockefeller and a few others chose the morning that the Titanic was leaving not to leave with the Titanic.
I'm going to tell y'all now, I'm going to need a security guard. I'm going to need a security team
Detail
to protect us with the shit that she's talking about. I'm glad we're in Mexico. You talking about people have to be careful what they say.
There's other creators out there. There's other creators out there that are
telling it all.
Well, yeah. Look, I'm telling you guys, you're going to get some game for sticking around. So here's the game. So when the Titanic was leaving, some people say, well, it was because Rockefeller had astrologer that said, don't go because of this, that, and the other, and the moon wasn't in the position and all of this. Well, there's a deeper theory behind that, which allowed, there was a set of 5 or 6 richest individuals in the world, and they were going to set sail to come over here on the Titanic to America to be able to create the Federal Reserve, what the United States knows as the Federal Reserve. By the way, that's not federal. It has nothing to do. It's privately owned. And there was 2 or 3 gentlemen within this group of the richest guys here that said, you know what, we're not really for this. We don't want you to create this, so we're against it. Well, it is amazing that those 2 or 3 individuals that were against it, and this is all, by the way, if you ever read the book, The Jekyll Island, this is all in that book. It's a great book to read. But essentially, those people who opposed it got on the ship. The people who were not opposing the Federal Reserve did not get on the Titanic. We all know what happened to the Titanic. Now, we all know also who owns the Federal Reserve, which is those 3 or 4 individuals that did not get on the Titanic that morning. So it is.
Don't be cryptic now, hell.
It is essentially at the end of the day of understanding the play of the land of this is about monetization and the upper elites being able to monetize off of every financial system that we have at play. And that is for every government around the world, unfortunately.
Boom.
Question.
Yeah.
What are the chances that our government begin to posture to knock DJI drones? Because the CISA, Cyber Infrastructure and Security Administration, have long warned against using Chinese drones because of fear of industrial espionage. We don't know what they're doing. They put them on these servers, they take your information, perhaps they hand it over to China. So all federal and state agencies have banned using Chinese drones. What are the chances they do to them what they did to TikTok? Because they've been on in the crosshairs for a long time.
My
Any idea
question,
on that?
my question would be in rebuttal to that. Well, not rebuttal, just in support of that is, why are they not doing that to Facebook and Instagram? We are so worried about TikTok and what our data is that we do not realize that Facebook and Instagram is sold
They've been getting us.
all of our
They've
shit.
been getting us.
Facebook is the worst.
23andMe.
Yeah.
23andMe. These genealogy things that we do. The 23andMe. What's another one of them that my mom did and all that? Like Ancestry.com. All of these guys, you do not read the fine print. They are selling our biometrical data that they get through these things to foreign countries, China being one of them.
And not only that, I mean, we forget.
Everybody's doing it.
Everybody talks about, oh, I'm not sure about my information, this, that, and other. They already got your shit.
They got it.
Okay? This cell phone you're using, it's taking pictures of you every 5 seconds. Think of some camels right now. And I guarantee you, your ass is going to see a camel in the next 5 days. These phones are already reading. Okay? I promise you.
Listen, you know what, y'all? I know that. Like, people are so upset about these kind of things. I'm just like, they already watching us.
They're done.
This is like Big Brother. We already
I'm already on a list somewhere.
Just, you know what? This is what I say. How about you just act right?
Yeah.
How about you just act right?
Yeah, your ass ain't selling no kilos and no shit like that, and you shouldn't be. So hell, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
I'm going to tell you your best bet for everybody that's listening to this, because there's so many things that are you're never going to win the game, by the way. Let me just tell you that this game is never to be won. But the way that people are able to find freedom out of it is through financial freedom. And the cryptocurrency avenue is why the opportunity, now don't get FOMO'd in, but understand the long-term investment, just like Lenar did with the Iraqi dinar, a long-term investment, gold, silver, gold and silver are up majorly right now. It is all because
you want some financial advice, go use your ass some of that.
Yeah.
Right now.
I mean, you'll never go wrong with getting gold and silver. The point being at the end of the day is that when you have financial independence is when you can start being a player of the game or opt out of the game. But when we are at the stage that we are all at right now, which is, middle class or, whatever, just the average human being in a society, we are a part of the game, whether you like it or not. And so it is when we share this information is because the only way to get a part to, I can't even say beat the game, because it is a system that is structurally set up against the betterment of everybody. It is going to take more conversations like this in masses for all of us to understand that let's stop trusting in the elected process that we have, and let's start coming together as a community and saying, I do this well, you do this well. Hey, I can, grow vegetables. I can, find water in a well. I can do whatever it is. And coming together and start coming back to a community basis, that's when we start winning the game.
And not only that, as we all know, and something you guys have heard us share, financial literacy is caught, not taught. And especially for us that, are in the culture, I know for myself, regardless of what color you are, my father always taught me, son, you need to save your money. You need to save your money for a rainy day. My dad taught me to save money, but his ass definitely didn't teach me how to invest and do all the rest of these things that I should have been doing, other than just having the bank do the shit for us. And so that's even more so why we have these conversations, because a lot of us do have money stacked up somewhere because of that tradition. But now we need to be able to pivot and transition some of that. And not only that, people saying, oh, I ain't got no money. Your ass just spent a whole bunch of money on Memorial Day weekend. People came to your house, ate up your food, ate up your groceries, didn't do shit, and ain't supported your business or nothing. But yet we say we don't have the money. No, we got the money. We're just putting it in the wrong places. And this is why we're having this conversation, the look in the mirror conversation, to say, hey, that Louis Vuitton, that set of golf clubs I wanted, whatever I wanted this weekend. Let me take about $20, $30 out of that. Let me go invest it into something that's going to help me long-term instead of the short-term gains that we always want. And so, I see Miss Anastasia is up here. Hopefully I'm saying your name right and I'm not butchering it. Jackson, Miss Jackson, you got anything you want to add to this conversation? I saw your chat that you put it in the chat.
Yeah, you said my name right. Honestly, no, I'm just listening in. A lot of these things that you guys are saying, I definitely have heard just like over time listening to like doing my own study and research, like Earn Your Leisure or like ARC. I don't know if you guys heard of ARC. Um, but then to the blockchain piece, that's more so where my expertise is mainly because my company, WeNight, we are AI integrated with blockchain and we work with HBCUs. And there are a lot of people in the HBCU community or the Black community are not really educated on blockchain. When they hear blockchain, they think Bitcoin. And it's like, no, 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 no. So I'm not using blockchain for crypto. I'm using blockchain to create like transparency, which will create trust within these institutions that have a hard time, you know, handling their money, handling their major decisions, and just yada yada. So
I think that's what a lot of people might not understand about blockchain is that so a lot of people know the centralized system that we are a part of today, which is, our money goes through a bank, through the Federal Reserve, they create the money, blah, 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 blah. They understand the centralized control. And what they don't understand is the decentralization of what blockchain brings to us. But why it's so important to us is because the transparency that it brings to the community, and that the community then can hold, like I was just sharing, we got to get back to this community level where we hold each other accountable through the community. And that's the beauty of what the blockchain does, is the series of the, the data.
Building fund. You ain't put a doorknob on
exactly.
the church since 1969. Where the hell all this damn money going?
Exactly.
Let's go to the blockchain. We're going to see where your ass been spending this money.
Exactly. As transactions, as projects happen, as, education system gets, basically uploaded into the blockchain, it brings truth. And it brings transparency. And as we all know, the only way that we can build as a community is having truth and transparency. And because that is rotted away with the current centralized system that we are a part of, that is why there's so much mistrust, that people are like, I don't trust you. It's to the fact that, you sell something on Craigslist or, Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, and you're like, okay, let me hand you the item while I'm taking the money out of it. You know what I mean? There's that
there's a
5-second gap that everybody feels like they're going to get got, because we have been getting got through the centralized system. And now we're moving into, where, like you're talking about, the blockchain, to where everybody's going to see that. You might not see that it says David Jones Jr. there or Tara Bush there, but we have a ID, an identification, and you can track what the heck.
Your ass bought 2 Twinkies the other day.
Yeah.
And your ass is supposed to be buying pencils and shit for the kids. Now you buying Twinkies and shit.
But it's that. And I'm excited for you and your company and working with these HSBCs that are able to, as David says, work with the culture of being able to not get left behind. No human needs to be left behind, regardless of what our color is, regardless of what our school level is, because at the end of the day, they do that on purpose. It is a system built on reward and, essentially, structure. And if you follow the structured rules, then you get the reward that they want. And this has been the way it's going. And that doesn't work because there are so many people.
Power will never relinquish power.
Power will never relinquish power. But what happens is, as a community, this is why blockchain is so important, is because as a community, we can come back and say, no, I'm putting my trust into this entity or this person or this company or agency or project. And with that allows us to be able to say, all right, let's build some stuff. Like, let's do some things that, because guess what? There's been a lot of really cool ideas out there, but people who have a really genuine place of where they bring this idea, they take it up to the makers, the gatekeepers, to get it out to the masses. And then that is where the capitalization happens on these people's projects, that they're like, well, I was just trying to feed the community, and now you got me looking like, Willie Foo and look like I'm stealing from the people or whatever it is because of the greed through the centralized, systems and all that. I'm just happy to have this conversation. Again, I could talk about it for hours, and Mr. Jones is about to, fall off the chair here because we've been at it for about 3 hours now. But we appreciate everybody jumping in. Does anybody want to jump up and say any last comments or thoughts or questions? Done.
All righty. Well, hey, look, guys, we appreciate you guys joining us today. Make sure you definitely come and join us tomorrow.
Actually,
go ahead, Leonard.
Yeah, I was like 40 feet from my phone.
Sprinting back to your phone.
It's like, oh my God, for the one time I don't have my phone in my hand, I got to come off mic. A lot of value. I've been kicking with Dave for the past couple of weeks when he first came on Fanbase, and followed him. He had some great information to offer in Quantum Link, which meets at 11 a.m. on Sundays. I also have a room on Fanbase that meets every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Central. I talk about government contracting. I've been in that space for about 4 years now, since I retired from the federal government. Well, actually, before I retired. That's why I got out, because you can't win big contracts and still work for the government. So I'm meeting tomorrow at 8 p.m. That day, you're welcome to come back. Anastasia, you're welcome. Axe, you can come too. And any of you, if you're not on Fanbase, please create an account. Let's talk. We can continue this discussion, because again, if my 20-year-old investment starts to mature and grow and blows up, I'm going to have some cap. I won't have to borrow. I can become my own bank. Therefore, that's Gold Park Capital. And I can start to do things in the community to help people get where they need to be. So I appreciate the content, the information you shared. I'm going to have some dinner, and I'm going to go pop on and look at those West Virginia assets you talked about, and just see where I can add value there and possibly build out a new space for myself, my community, the family, and look forward to engaging you guys in a very productive conversation again sometime soon. Thank you. I yield back my time.
Well, thank you so much, Leonard, for jumping in and just hanging out. And thank you for the support. And please, guys, go check out his room. I listen to it actually through David when David's listening to it. So you actually have two of us listening. But you just don't know I'm creeping in the back. But thank you. Thank you for the value that you're providing on the into the community and the,
you're welcome. Thank you.
And being able to host these spaces. And you said something very important where you can become your own bank. And that's the exciting things about being able to invest and invest long term, as the blockchain will eventually, if you make proper investments, will allow us all to become our own banks. And that might be the topic of our room the next week of, blockchain and cryptocurrency. How does it allow you to be your own bank? Because at the end of the day, that's the Web3 fintech space is a threat to the current financial system that we have, because it allows the individual, you and I, to become our own bank and to bank with our family. And I heard a TikTok yesterday that put it in perspective perfectly. Gentleman says, if my company makes $1 million a year in profits, he says, I put 200 to 400,000 of that profit into our family bank. He says, my kids, which essentially, if anybody, that's just putting it into cash value life insurance policies is what he was doing. There's other ways to do it, but that's how he was doing it. And then from there, he said, my grown children and my wife, who also put into this bank, they can borrow from that at any time with no credit check, no nothing, with what did he say? 0 interest or next to nothing in interest. He says, if we choose to do interest in the bank, that's a community choice that they get to make in the family. But he says, and they get to pay it back over 50, 60 years. He says, now, why do you think they invest or they borrow that money from our bank to pay for their college? He says, I don't put them through college. They have to borrow that money to put themselves through college to do it, because they know putting back into the bank, when they pay that money back, for what they borrowed. It goes back into the company or the family bank for future generations. And they understand at that point, we've just created a future generation and generational wealth to where we're able to be long standing as a community. And that's where we got to get back to. And because we've been so discombobulated in the current system that we have lost all trust within our family ties, our, even within ourselves. We lost the trust with ourselves. So that's what part of Erica over on LinkedIn was sharing with us, and what she's doing is that trauma work. Is we have to also heal that trauma that is linked to this, and then we can start growing as communities. But it takes us to do our part to be a whole in the community, and Web3 is going to be the tools in the tool bag that allow us to do it.
Yeah, so spot on, love. I love it. And even more importantly, us being able to have these conversations and being open about it as we share that no matter how much information we give to people, the mindset has to be in order first. And we share with people, you got to open up the 4 most expensive things, and they're all on you, and they're free as they can be. And that's a closed mind, that's a closed mouth, that's a closed heart, and a closed hand. When your ass start opening those up, you become more richer, you become more prosperous, and you are able to raise your energy and your vibration and frequency. And yes, a brother said all 3 of those in a row. I know I wouldn't have said this shit 10 years ago.
With me too long.
Been hanging out with your ass too long. And this is where we really have to be able to change our energy, to change our world. And that's where it starts first, of getting rid of these old traumas, these old dramas, these that become patterns and programs that we really have to be able to do for ourselves more than anything else. And so you guys make sure you come and join us tomorrow. At 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be done definitely before Leonard's room at 8 o'clock Eastern. And so we'll jump over to that. This is where we'll be able to, have these conversations. Leonard, brother, we definitely got to have you on our Hello Pivot Thursday, where we go live and we have this conversation. Definitely have you on to come join us on that. Anastasia, you as well, for sure,
yes,
to be able to talk about these things, because as we share with people, collaboration is the new currency. And when we can understand that, then we all can grow together. And that's what we're about. Our friends are your friends, and we become friends, like Biggie says. And so until next time, you guys know the drill.
R.I.P. Biggie.
Yeah, until next time.
That was not the drill, right?
No, that was not the drill. That was not the drill. I was not part of it. Anyhow, love,
kindness,
integrity,
but most importantly,
commitment
and consistency.
And until next time,
toodles.
We'll see you guys later.
Tomorrow.